2. Hello, one and all. Sorry for the late start there. Yeah, we're back here tonight on Thursday night here at IR Bad at Games, and we're continuing with Chaos Child on the road to the true ending. We have finished Arimura and her chapter last night, or not last night, last stream, and we are starting now on. We started a little bit on Kazuki's, where we learned where she got her, or what her power did. And yeah, some crazy things are going on in Shibuya. Any thoughts as to what to expect tonight?
I don't really know what to expect. No. Yeah, it's kind of it's hard to say, I guess. I'm not really. There's a lot of direction that there are a lot of ways they could go with a bunch of this stuff. And it's been they're very comfortable coming out of left field with stuff. So I'm not I don't have any other great calls that I think I can make at this point that I'm like sure of, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how much it feels like each one of these endings is like, oh yeah, pick your girlfriend, like because that's sort of been like the background structure of the games. A little bit.
I don't know if there is a bit of that.
Yeah.
I think the science adventure games, they kind of like they have a nod towards how visual novel, the origins of visual novels,
working along, like trying to play to that same audience, it seems, anyway, as well. So you kind of want at least some element of that to key in on it, genuinely, because they're like, I don't know, they do like hit the tropes for the anime.
Oh, definitely.
Romance stuff pretty solidly.
All right, well, let's hop back into Hana's chapter, Kazuki's chapter, and see where this bad boy goes. Oh, wrong button.
I'm curious. I don't know what we're gonna get with her. I'm curious.
Whatever. I'm going back to sleep then. I went to a corner of the room, buried my head in my knees, and tried to sleep. Thank you, senpai. Next 2 days, Kazuki and I spent all our time in this room, doing nothing at all. A few days ago, I never would have imagined I'd be living in a room with a girl from my club. Sadly, nothing romantic has happened at all.
I think it's a little like on
All I did was watch the news on TV. I wanted to look online, but Kazuki was using the computer the whole time and wouldn't give it to me. Even now, Kazuki was sitting in front of the only computer in the room, a low-spec compact laptop. There was an angry glare in her eyes as she stared at it. It was like she was trying to intimidate her monitor. Her frustration was plain to see on her face. She was a totally different person than the one who'd cried as she told me about her powers 2 days ago. Actually, this is the Kazuki I always see in the club room, isn't it? Slammed her fist against the table in annoyance. I thought I could hear the sound of Kazuki gritting her teeth. Don't get so emotional over a game. Did you lose again? Okay. If you let her, Kazuki Hana would spend the whole day playing video games. She would barely even eat. The only food in the room was dried squid and lollipops, both of which were available in enormous quantities. Kind of freaked me out a little, honestly. Still, thanks to them, I was able to eat something without having to leave.
Perfect.
Kazuki ran her fingers through her hair violently, trying to vent her frustration. She'd been angry ever since yesterday. When I asked her what was wrong, she told me. This laptop specs are too low to run the game right. Basically, she was having withdrawal symptoms from not being able to play her games.
Just describe a fucking laptop. Like, dude, like an actual laptop that you both know. Just like a fucking whatever, 1080, blah, 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 like blah, 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 run through it and bam.
Then she slowly stood up and headed for the door. Wait, where are you going? The For the past 2 days, she'd been unwilling to leave the room. She was probably still thinking about what had happened at the school. I felt bad about it since I was the one who'd gotten her involved. Recovered? School. Done a game. You're kidding me.
Like, look it up online, and then just
Right.
like that one, even.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. You can have anything you want.
I was too shocked to say anything else. She's only leaving because she can't handle playing the game on her low-spec laptop anymore? Sure. I mean, the one in the club room is pretty high-end, but I felt like I'd finally solved the mystery of why she was always playing in the club room. It was never clear if that computer belonged to the school or was someone's personal property. It was one of the 7 mysteries of the newspaper.
There's 7?
I guess.
What are the other 6?
I didn't really try to stop her, and I'm not going to tell you.
I want to know.
But I didn't feel like going to school yet myself. Part of it was that if I did, I'd remember the terror that I'd felt. But more importantly, I didn't want to ask all the questions I knew Caruso and Ito or answer all the questions I knew Caruso and Ito were going to ask. That was why I spent the last 2 days cooped up in this room. You know, the longer you wait, no one knew I was here right now.
It's not true. Wait long enough, people just check out in time.
That's true. I've been getting calls from
Don't
Sarah
recommend that.
and Caruso all day since yesterday, but I've ignored them all. I was sure Kazuki was going to leave, but instead she turned around once she got to the front door. It looked like she was still hesitant about going outside. The game really that much fun? I've never really been able to get into games as much as Kazuki did. All I ever did was play a few to kill some time. But when I saw how Kazuki's life seemed to revolve around her game, I started to wonder why she was what was so interesting about it. Hey, can I try that game you were playing a little? Kazuki nodded, so I sat down in front of her PC. The game screen was still displayed on the monitor. It was a Western game called Call of Counterfield.
I think like cowboys, but that's probably not what they mean.
This is one of those games. Oh, it's definitely like a Call of Duty Battlefield.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty, like it's
Counter-Strike.
American. Like hearing Western game, like I think Red Dead or something.
Oh, I got you.
It's not what they mean.
This is one of those games where you shoot each other with guns, right? I think they're called FPS games, right? How do I control it?
Oh god.
WASD.
That's gonna be so annoying.
Suki sighed a little and came over to me.
Yeah. Like, this isn't gonna
Put
work.
your hand on the mouse.
Oh right, you gotta have the cutesy.
Moved my hand to the mouse. My hand was on top of the
arm
mouse,
around
and
you.
Kazuki's hand was on top of mine. So close. Practically
Of
right on
course.
top of me. Use the WASD keys on the keyboard to move. Shift to dash. C to throw grenade. I was too focused on Kazuki to listen to what she was saying. Okay. Try it,
Sucking.
maybe.
Good
Kazuki started the game without me. I was placed into a lobby while the game matched me with someone else, but only for a second before it threw me right into the middle of a match. What's going on? I was so caught off guard that I panicked a little. When I moved, the screen was jerky.
dead.
It was really hard to control. Even if I found somebody to try and shoot, they'd shoot me first and I'd die. I ended the game with 0 kills and 31 deaths.
Oh god.
That was not good. I
It
don't
was
know
not.
how Kazuki manages to play this with the screen this jerky. The computer specs aren't nearly good enough. I think I understand why it bothers her so much now.
I would lose it, yeah.
Sakaru-senpai, you suck. Maybe. I'm just a
Bullshit.
beginner, and the screen's really jerky. And I couldn't stop thinking about what was touching my arm, so I couldn't concentrate. She kept whispering, "Not that way, dummy, no, and not there," in my ear all the while, dude.
Rookie.
And your hand's been on top of mine the whole time. Kazuki's right hand had been on top of
that
mine
would
during the
be
whole game. Yeah, that
terrible.
would be pretty bad. Huh?
Yeah.
Kazuki seemed to finally notice how close we were. She was right next to me, so I could feel her breathing. So close I could feel her breathing. Her eyes went wide and her face flushed red. Breath tickled my cheek. Neither of us had showered in 2 days.
Jesus.
I could smell the sweat of her body.
Why not?
We were close enough to kiss. Full Cat Press would tell me that this was a sign it was okay to push her down.
Yeah.
We were alone in her room. I couldn't take my eyes off her soft
Listen
lips.
to Cool Cat Press.
This was
It's a
bad.
bad
I didn't know
publication.
what was going on, but this had to be bad. Kazuki.
Bro, you're playing games. It's
Mm.
cool.
Ah, shit.
Hitch has pretty good rules, though, right? Like, yeah, you go 80, let them go.
Suddenly, the intercom rang. I came back to my
Never go
senses
the
and
whole
leaped away
100.
from Kazuki. that scared me, but it saved me too. If it hadn't interrupted, I might have put my hands on Kazuki. That was something that superficial normies did, and I'm not like those normies. I'm a more stoic sort of normie.
I don't understand.
That's right. Yep.
Gotta be special.
Sound like you're trying to convince yourself there, buddy. Kazuki glanced
Yeah,
at me.
like I don't. It's okay to like girls. That's all right.
Kazuki glanced at me as I tried frantically to calm myself down and picked up the intercom receiver. Wait, she doesn't talk on the intercom either? No, she doesn't talk at all. How the hell is she able to communicate with anyone then?
Oh shit! Wait, does it work like that? That would be weird.
Oh, I don't know.
Most other people, it doesn't, like through those like.
Right, maybe she just
most people through the phone or whatever. I don't know if I'd risk it. Yeah, that'd be a bad day.
Kazuki slowly put down the receiver. It looked like she'd somehow managed to communicate with them. She then turned to me and looked like something was troubling her. No, it's okay to talk. Oh, please, talk, actually. No, senpai is here. Maybe. That's right, just talk normally. It'll take more than a word or two to do. What? Huh? Karusu's here. I am doomed. Why would Karusu visit Kazuki's room? Because she hasn't been in school for 2 days.
Right, you guys have been not here. You both have not been at school for 2 days. I don't think it takes a detective.
Actually,
the
there was
president of
reason.
the goddamn newspaper club. Or vice president, I guess. You weren't at school. You weren't at your RV. You weren't at the Dome, or Selka's place, or even Ito-kun's place. Which means that this would be my next choice. You don't have a lot of friends, so I can't imagine who you'd go to that wasn't in the newspaper club. I honestly never believed I'd find you here in Kazuki's room, though.
I need to see that Karusu looked healthy. And probably didn't have to worry about the knife wound anymore. Yeah.
It's like, that's a weird.
However, he was mad. This was the extra mad version of Karusu. I knew it was my own fault for calling Serica once on Tuesday morning and then ignoring everyone's calls after that. Yeah. I really wanted to run away.
Upset about that.
But obviously I couldn't.
So, are you willing to talk about this? First, what are you doing in Kazuki's room?
That's where she wants to start? She doesn't care about what happened after I was attacked by the pyrokinetic?
You obviously didn't die. Takaru, answer me.
It kind of turned out that way.
Why does it smell like a bathhouse in here? Does it have something to do with what happened on Monday?
Kazuki and I both nodded at the same time.
I see. But do you really think it's appropriate for a high school boy to stay in the girls' room for 3 whole days?
Good point. You really can tell that she's the student council president.
You didn't think it would bother Kazuki?
Well,
it didn't.
Kazuki shook her head. She was embarrassed for something. Evidently, she hadn't thought it was a bother.
Really? You're not just saying that because he's older than you? Yeah.
Kazuki kept shaking her head. She seemed to have no intention of talking.
Are you two maybe, are you two dating, I'll go with? Is that it?
Both Kazuki and I shook our heads as hard as we could. Well, I mean, I understand that she probably got that idea.
Chill on that. Can't protest too much. People take offense. I see.
For some reason, Karusu looked a little relieved.
Takaru, you're okay now, right?
By okay, she probably was referring to what happened on Monday. I was sure she'd been worried too. I'm okay. The woman who attacked us isn't in Shibuya anymore. Probably. course, I didn't say it was because we accidentally killed her.
Then why not come to school? Seroka and Ito-kun are both worried.
Eh,
If you're worried about being home alone, you can come to Oberdorm.
can't do that. It's possible the woman was after me from the start. If the odds were low now, they weren't 0. So if I'm with you and Ono, I might get you involved. And Dad and Yui and Yuto are all at Aoba Dorm.
So it's okay to get Kazuki involved then.
Well, I mean, I already got her involved, so... Currently staring at my clothes. I hadn't changed out of the bloodstained shirts.
Oh my god, you haven't showered since...
It was only natural that Caruso was really worried about that. You think she'd be worried about you being covered in blood?
Gross. So you really were involved in what happened at school then?
Nodded.
What exactly happened?
Kazuki and I looked at one another.
Nope.
But Kazuki quickly looked down. I needed to keep her power and what we'd done at school on Monday a secret. She saved me. That means they might come after her too. That's all I can say. Part of that is to keep you and the others safe. Please understand that.
It's always the same story, huh? Oh, I can read, I swear.
Risu gave me a sad look. What?
Same sentiment, though.
Yeah.
Close. It's nothing.
Risu, Kazuki suddenly offered us both a lollipop. He was trying to say that these were for us, evidently, you think?
Thank you. Sheesh. She can be a bit like Celica sometimes.
I don't think so. Or Risu chuckled inside and took the lollipop.
Not good at human.
Right. He didn't put
they're... Yeah.
He didn't put it in her mouth, though. I took it, unwrapped it, and then plopped it in my mouth. Tastes like strawberry. A cloyingly sweet flavor soon filled my mouth.
Kazuki, are you sure Takaru is not causing trouble for you? If there is something you want to say, you can say it. You're sure? Okay, at least shower though. I see. Takaru may be your senior at school, but this is your room. Feel free to set the ground rules. And Kazuki, are you bathing properly? You're not, are you? Is it because Takaru's here?
Kazuki's face became beet red as she shook her head. It wasn't my fault. It's because she's been busy playing too many video games.
Okay. I'll keep an eye on Takaru, so why not take a shower now? After that, I'll go shopping. You don't have any real food, right? I'll make you something simple. Takaru needs a change of clothes too, because he looks like a murderer.
Yeah, that would be great.
Come on, Kazuki, get going already.
Rusu practically shoved Kazuki in the bathroom. For long,
Seriously, both of you bathe.
For long, I heard the sound of falling water. This is awkward. It's already awkward enough being here with Karusu, but I can almost hear every sound Kazuki making in the shower.
Hey, Wendell, has Kazuki opened up to you?
Define open?
She's not like Serica. She puts up walls with everyone.
Definitely not like Serica, that's for sure.
Sometimes when I see her, I wonder if inviting her to join the newspaper club was a good idea.
Come to think of it, you were the one who brought her to the club.
Yeah, it was a few days after the school year started. The wind was blowing really hard that day.
Really, you remember
She
that,
was
huh?
carrying. Yeah, like apparently it's relevant, I guess. Oh, it is relevant. Okay, so she was carrying a huge pile of handouts, and the wind caught them and blew them away. So I helped her pick them up. But she doesn't talk at all, you know. So I was worried about her and went with her to the teacher's office. And then, since Kazuki couldn't talk, the teacher started asking her to do all this other stuff. I got upset at how Kazuki couldn't refuse and interrupted them. Then, later, I said if she wasn't in the club, she could try the newspaper club. She looked like a quiet girl, so I thought maybe she wouldn't want to be in that club. So, when she suddenly showed up several days later, I was surprised.
That's how it happened. That's just like Caruso, all right.
But I never know what she's thinking. That's not true. You, like, basically directly communicate with her, even though she only goes, So I wonder if she only joined the newspaper club because I told her to.
He's there every day, so I don't think she hates it.
Computer solid, at least.
Her main reason was probably to play video games. But now I knew why Caruso was more concerned about Kazuki than anyone else in the club. I think Kazuki's grateful to you. Well, I don't know for sure, but I was mumbling and stumbling over the words because it kind of felt like I was talking about myself.
Why? Take care of Kazuki, okay? Be her friend.
I know, we're in the same club after all. He really is a kind-hearted meddler. That's exactly why everyone counts on her so much as the student council president. Suddenly, the door to the bathroom opened and Kazuki came tumbling out.
What? Tumbling?
Hmm.
That was fast. It hasn't even been 5 minutes, has it? Did you wash your hair?
Hair was a little wet, and her cheeks were a little flushed from the hot shower. I could smell the pleasant scent of shampoo. Why did she look a little cuter than usual now that she was out of her shower?
Probably because she's substantially less greasy. Come on, dry your hair properly.
Rusu smiled gently and started to dry Kazuki's hair with a towel.
You didn't need to get out so quickly.
Kazuki fidgeted as she let Karusu dry her hair. Then, her stomach rumbled. Both Karusu and I burst out laughing.
You're that hungry, huh? Okay, I've got to go get some clothes for Takaru. I'll do some shopping while I'm out. Is there something you want to eat? Anything's okay, right?
For some reason, Kazuki got on the ground and bowed in gratitude. About an hour later, Karusu came back and made us a simple meal. The table was lined up with fried ginger pork, tofu, and onion miso soup, and a spinach salad.
Shit. I used some really simple recipes, so I can't guarantee that it'll be good.
She was being modest, but I knew exactly how good at cooking Karusu.
So does she.
Yeah, after all, not too long ago, she cooked for me every day. And Karusu was best at simple dishes like these. She'd make several of them in the blink of an eye. Kazuki was looking at Karusu's face to see if it was okay to eat.
Go ahead.
Kazuki put her hands together and bowed her head. She rarely said anything, but she had good table manners. She took a bite of the ginger pork. And after just one bite, her face broke out into a grin. I've never seen Kazuki smile like that before. I felt like I was seeing something really rare.
Ever seen
Yeah.
a model of her that's like not deadpan?
She hadn't eaten any real food for the past
Or
2
crying.
days. And normally she only ate lollipops and dry squid. Caruso's cooking must have been a real feast for her.
Feel attacked. I'm guessing you liked it. I'm glad. You eat two taco, you're a glowing boy.
Was in her big sister mode now. But for now, I would be the obedient little brother. My top priority at the moment was filling my stomach. Kazuki was staring at Kurusu as if in a trance, a small piece of ginger pork still sticking out of the side of her mouth. I'd already learned from Cool Cat Press what that expression meant. It was the look of a woman in love.
I was gonna say she's all
Wait.
dewy.
Does Kazuki like girls? No. There's no way. Probably just looking up to Kurusu because she's older. What if Serica... Was it Serica who told me that girls in puberty are like that a lot?
Kazuki, stop spacing out and chew your food.
Ah.
And get your elbows off the table. It's Batman now. Fuck that.
Hey, Kurusu. Shut the fuck up. Oh,
Yeah, right? Fuck you, we're at home. Ain't nobody else here. Bullshit. Manners.
Kazuki really is grateful to you for asking her to join the newspaper. After
Take
being with
my
her...
head off at the table, too. Fuck off.
After being with her the whole time for the past 3 days, I finally was starting to feel like I understood Kazuki. Disaster struck Shibuya 2 days after that. 2 of us were watching the afternoon news when they suddenly switched to a live broadcast near Shibuya Station. A young female reporter was leading a cameraman up to the twisty, thin street that ran from the station to Dogonzaga. The text on the screen said, "Mysterious object appears in Shibuya. What is it?"
What? Oh, okay. I was, Shibuya is not Akihiko. I was thinking, yeah, I was like, oh god, is it about to be a crossover with the Steins
That would've
Gate,
been really
like,
cool.
satellite? I was like, holy shit, but yeah, I got the names mixed up in my head. So I was like, I know that one, but it was the wrong one. I'm here on a street that's a 3-minute walk from Shibuya Station. He's not. That's a lie. This is a green screen chroma thing. He's obviously not on the scene.
I think the reporter's on the film, and that's an anchor.
Don't trust Don't trust this reporter. This reporter's a liar.
Oh, I got you.
Look at this mysterious object.
The reporter pointed to a 1 meter tall object that was floating at the end of the street. Both Kazuki and I recognized it at once. We'd seen it ourselves just a few days before. The portal device.
Sorry.
Kazuki looked
Say it
shocked. again. Yeah, for real.
Dingus.
Our gaze is frozen on the TV screen. Yes, that's very true. Because
I mean, it should pop in, right? Or I guess she doesn't know whether or not it will.
Takaru knows what it looks like. What's going on?
It was the thing that popped in last time because he had some passing familiarity with the game, I think. But anyway,
Yeah, there was no way the portal device can be on a street near the station. We saw it on top of the school.
yeah, man, I feel like I could take advantage of that power more
Oh,
fully than whoops, bumped my mic than they have here. This object was discovered after an anonymous call this morning.
The young reporter moved in front of the device and continued to speak.
See? The police, after a thorough investigation, have blockaded the area. The police say that it might be a bomb.
And you would not be that close.
No. But it looks very pretty, don't you think? It's glowing with this strange, dreamy light. I'd love to see what it looks like at night, personally. Which that looks like a night shot to me, I would say.
It does a little bit.
What's particularly odd is that there doesn't seem to be anything supporting it. It appears to be floating in the air. How does it do that?
Hey, what's that? The cameraman on the TV show was never supposed to speak, but this one did. The reporter stopped talking and turned around to face the portal device. The camera showed that it was changing. The whole portal device was starting to emit a golden light.
Look, the object is, it's shining brighter than before. What happened? The scene is in an uproar.
Oh. Stay back! It's dangerous! Stay back!
Oh, a police officer is telling us to stay back.
This is bad, isn't it?
Shut up, Jerry! But it's so pretty. Let's go go take a closer look.
All right, Seth. Wait, no. The reporter gave a signal to the cameraman and started to walk around.
God damn it!
I gulped as I waited to see what would happen next. It's not a good idea to get close to that, I said in my mind.
Right.
Of course, no matter what I said here, the reporter on the screen couldn't hear me.
Yeah, and like 90% of their job is getting closer to stuff that it would not be a good idea to get closer to. So,
Yeah.
what do you got a broken person that's out there getting up in people's face with a camera? What do you suppose is making it shine like that? When you look closer, you can see tiny particles of light swirling around it. It's like art. Oh, the particles are coming together. Wow, it's so pretty. It's like one of those things in old sci-fi movies. What do you call them? Holograms? Is this shape supposed to be some kind of animal? Or maybe it's a dinosaur?
The reporter was chipper as ever. She was speaking in the same way she'd do for a food report at the local restaurant. I had a very bad feeling about this.
Yes.
I could see the
100%.
death flags popping up everywhere, and I couldn't help but remember the last look on that woman's face before she had disappeared a few days ago. That object on the screen was the same thing, and this reporter was going to disappear as well.
Oh, God.
I looked away.
Disappear is a very, very polite way of describing what happened. Huh?
I could hear the reporter raise her voice in surprise. I looked back at the monitor. What? And bore witness to the monster I'd never seen before. I thought I'd switched the channel somehow, but I could see the reporter on the same screen as the monster. At first I thought it was CG. That's how unreal it seemed. It looked like a dinosaur. Its skin was bright red, its legs were as big as a human torso, and it had giant wings on its back. Its wicked-looking black horns bent inward towards its jaw, and there were 5 golden orb-like jewels shining on its forehead. I couldn't see any eyes where you might expect them to be. Even on 4 legs, it was over twice the height of a human, and there were fangs in its huge mouth. The particles of light had come together to form that monster, and the TV camera had captured every second of it. That wasn't CG. It was too unrealistic. It felt terribly out of place. Yet the monster was moving in a believable way, like a genuine animal. Run! I whispered without even thinking about the fact that she couldn't hear me. But the reporter was getting excited instead.
Wow. What kind of magic is going on here? Jerry, we're going to get an Emmy. This big lizard dinosaur, it appeared right out of nowhere. It's huge and it's moving. It's like the real thing. I'm not sure how it...
It was eating her. The reporter had gotten too close to it and had bitten her head. Ah! Kazuki suddenly screamed in terror. The monster finished gnawing on the reporter's head and then grabbed the headless body in its mouth and shook violently.
Wait, Tony? I can't remember.
Ah!
TV Emmy.
Cameraman screamed, and the video shook violently too. He must have thrown the camera and ran. The image was a fixed shot of the monster's legs and the bloody head lying on the ground. Then... monster roared. Its thick legs started to move. It kicked the woman's head away. And then stepped in the camera, cutting out the video. Then the TV switched back to showing the studio where the newscasters and commentators were pale and sickly looking. Soon the image changed to a picture of a field of flowers with a message reading, "Please stand by." This is a nightmare. That was a live broadcast, right? That means all that just really happened.
That's why they have 5-second live delays on all feeds these days, ever since the nip slip.
Yep. Kazuki was covering her mouth with her hands and shaking. Her eyes were fixed on the TV screen. What was that? Kazuki slowly turned towards me, but she was too shocked to speak. What was that? I ran over to her and started to shake her shoulders. She forced out the words with tears in her eyes. A flame arc dragon, maybe. It's a monster from ESO2. It's a rare monster, but you see it at the start of the game. So every ESO2 player knows it, maybe? That means my delusions are still echoing. So a fictional monster has become real?
That's why you can't give yourself a laptop.
Right? Kazuki didn't make any kind of wish like that on Monday night. But where exactly did it come from? Did the words she said change somehow? Kazuki couldn't control her own powers. I remember what Neidhart had said and shuddered. A minute later, I booted up ESO2 and saw that Neidhart was logged in as well. I decided to talk to him immediately. Hey, did you see the news this afternoon on Fuji-san TV? Not in real time. I saw what got uploaded to the net later. Reddit's having a festival. Things are starting to go the way they did 6 years ago. He's enjoying all of it. What an asshole. And again, I'm saying even the writers of the stories are like, yeah, this guy is not redeemable.
He's supposed to be a shithead. That's the point.
Yeah. And again,
like, and they do that pretty well, I think, as a general.
Mm-hmm. And again, I guess I was the same when I was pursuing the return of New Gen Madness from the newspaper club. So it's not like I have any right to talk. Remember the DQN puzzle? Read the wiki. Jokes aside, the news broadcast was bad news. It isn't just about Shibuya anymore. The committee might take action. You know? Committee of 300, you know them? No. Basically, they're like a vast organization that controls the world from the shadows. Sounds like bullshit. 100% agree. But it exists anyway. And they might take action. Might be a war, possibly. A war. I don't know what you mean. You might be happier not knowing.
100% agree. All the same. It still exists.
I'll look into it on my side. If something comes up, I'll tell you. What are the chances if it's because of Kazuki's power? The hell else could it be? You saw that portal device? Yeah? Just so we're sure, the portal device didn't move. There's a second one, right? Yeah, I just had a friend go look for me and it was still there. Gotcha. Do you think it's possible to see the woman who attacked us again? You mean she might not actually be really dead? I get it. You're seriously thinking she might have been sent to another portal device? Silly man. Insert ASCIIR. Too lazy to do it himself, but he types in insert
insert ASCII art that's oof.
Isn't it possible that there was a second portal device that appeared on Monday night and we just didn't notice it? I know I said I was sure she was dead before because there was only one portal, but even if there were two, I can't imagine her surviving a teleport. You actually
could that be a scripting miss? Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think it was. I think that's just Neidhart.
That's a funny like gag that way. But I guess I was thinking like, okay, yeah, somebody like wrote the script on this and then they like just like had a bunch of these bracketed off that was like, okay, we need an ASCII art here.
Maybe, but they didn't skip out on it with Kazuki when she was typing. When she types, she does.
Yeah, and they just like miss one or something.
Maybe.
That theoretically, like if they're going back through. I don't know. You're probably right though. I bet it's just him being lazy, like as an internet gag.
Lazy, but like he's putting effort into his laziness.
Like it's a joke. Yeah, like that's an internet joke, I feel like. Yeah, I could see that. I've never seen anybody do it before, but it feels true.
Man, monster doesn't exist either, and it's out there. Yeah, got me there. The F-Arc Drag. That ate the reporter. I ate a cop after that. F-Arc Drag? Flame Arch Dragon. Duh. Make a dragon. It should be able to make a portal device. It might still be alive. Why not go look then? Find out how many portal devices have appeared in Shibuya. Find out anything besides that F-Arch Dragon real booted. Oh, I can't help, by the way. Gotta grind in ESO too. Weren't you supposed to look into the Committee of 300? Yeah, obviously. Short for Dragon, I guess.
Why not just FAD? though. That's all I'm saying. Like, why would you do all that extra typing? That's not how WoW or like MMO abbreviations work.
I was really trying to end things with a gag so this wouldn't get too serious. Sorry, but I'm not in Shibuya right now. Committee intervenes. It's gonna be real bad, real fast. So I'm gonna spend my time on that. Kazuki, there's no need to play ES2 for a while. Logged out. My heart. A vast conspiracy that controls the world from the shadows, huh? That sounds like bullshit. Even movies don't have plots like that these days. But since there's something I can do about it, I'll just leave that to Neidhart. What's more important to us right now is that portal device. Investigate it, huh? Kazuki was looking angrily at the log of my conversation with Neidhart. I gritted my teeth too. Even if we do investigate the portal device, what are we supposed to do after that? If it was real booted by Kazuki's delusion, will we even be able to destroy it or get rid of it?
You should.
Well, that's part of what we're investigating, I suppose. Even if she can't control her powers, it was Kazuki who created it. You can't just pretend to ignore it. There's even a dragon running around now. More people could die.
That is a big deal.
Guess we don't have a choice. We might be attacked out of nowhere, like we were before. That's why I really don't want to leave, but I'm not selfish enough to just leave something that dangerous out there and hide in here forever. Not like Nightheart.
Or like you've been doing for the past 3 days.
I ran to Harajuku and got a cell phone so I'd be able to keep in touch with the others, and called Sarah after school. Sarah, you're not gonna believe this shit.
Oh, what's up, Taku? Feel like coming to school? That's too bad. They closed it after lunch.
Closed it? Why are you surprised that they closed it?
Shibuya was sealed off, you know, so they closed the school too. There's like a dragon running around.
I see. Well, I mean, you know, I knew about it. Where are you now, Illinois?
Weird. At LAX, this place isn't sealed off.
Brave to keep your business running.
You know, hey, gotta...
And then told
That is wild, like, yeah.
Right?
The coffee must flow.
Yeah, I've seen the news about that dragon, but that's on the other side of town.
Shit's wild, right? Yeah, I mean, there's what are the odds? I mean, honestly, that it'll come all the way over here.
I then told her that I wanted to know how many portal devices had appeared in Shibuya.
I don't mind helping, but...
What?
Non-chan is right in front of me, and she's telling you not to do anything dangerous.
When do you ever listen to Non-chan?
That's not the point. She's here. I can feel this silent pressure telling me to put her on the phone.
I see. So that was where Karusu was right now. Of course, I can understand why she'd be... I can understand why she'd be mad.
Yeah, reasonable. Like, oh, okay, I gotta run around with the dangerous dragon or whatever, but...
Just like Sarah had said, after the shocking incident on the news this afternoon, the police had sealed off Shibuya over a course of a few hours. Impressive. The number of people in the streets was dropping fast. Supposedly, the National Diet was holding a debate about bringing in the self-defense forces.
Diet?
Diet, probably.
Diet?
Of course.
I don't know how you say it, but yeah.
They still haven't got rid of the portal devices or the flame arc dragon. Bruce probably wanted to tell me that there was nothing an amateur like me could do.
I mean, yeah. Imagine.
But this wasn't like the other investigations the newspaper club had done. First of all, no one was murdered, so I'm clear there.
Yeah, actually, one murder.
Well,
arguably.
I mean,
Death by flame arch dragon.
yeah, but
I don't know if that counts as a murder.
Does the dragon have intelligence? I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll
have to see. The dragon will be brought into court. Have to see if it's competent to stand trial.
Karusu, you may not believe this, but that monster that showed up might be because of Kazuki and I.
Huh? What do you mean?
I can't talk much about it, but just so you know, we're not doing this because we're very curious. I want to find a way to get rid of that monster and those devices.
I see.
Guess that wasn't enough to convince her. Or so I thought.
Okay. I'll persuade Non-chan.
Really?
Yeah. Because obviously she's behind it, so that you can be famous for solving it, dingus. Oh, and Shin-chan really wanted you to call him. Why not ask him for help? I'm sure he'd love it.
Oh yeah, I'll try.
He's not being mind controlled to commit some sort of grisly murder, I'm sure. Are you going to stay with Hana-chan? Are the two of you going to work together?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Alright. Maybe I'll go from Shin-san toward Shibuya Station. I can have a walking date with Non-chan.
Why are you even out and about?
No one should be on the street. There's a flame arch dragon running around.
But if you find a portal device, make sure you stay away from it. Oh, and if you see a dragon, you should probably run.
Don't go near it. Okay.
And be back home before sunset. Tell Karusu that too.
Okay.
Dragons only hunt in the daytime. Do you actually understand? You got a bad habit of doing whatever the hell you want sometimes.
Okay. Do I? Maybe I do.
Oh.
But you know, I'm good at being sneaky. I'm sure nobody will find me.
I mean, I know that, but
So,
just be careful.
furtive one. Okay. I'll report in tomorrow.
Yeah, I love how in every one of these side stories they keep like ripping like, hey, Sarah was a fucking.
Like, by the way, terrifying murderess.
I'm guessing school's closed tomorrow too, right? If so, let's all meet at the club room around noon.
Dragon Day! Okay.
After I finished giving my instructions to Serica, I made the same call to Ito. When I asked for his help, he was a little too eager to. He seemed like he'd been really bored for the past few days. He also said his frustration had been building up too. So I had him head north from Ibisu towards Shibuya Station. Once I'd finished telling him everything he needed to know, I hung up. Kazuki, it's time for us to go too. We decided to head from the dorm to the station, checking every back street and alley we found along the way. The first thing we did was head for the school. Dead silent. There wasn't a single car. Not only were there no Hekio students, there weren't even any pedestrians. Like, where are all the pedestrians at, man? Like there's a dragon running around or something.
Yeah, strange.
Had Shibuya ever been this empty since the earthquake? 6 years ago, there had been rubble everywhere, and I felt so alone. I faced what felt like the end of the world. This seemed different. It didn't feel lonely. It felt uncomfortable.
Swear to God, if you run into a dragon, it's just gonna be like the dumbest shit.
Town was still pristine.
I guess win.
All the people were gone. Like a ghost town. All the shops had their shutters lowered, except for LEX for some reason. It seemed like they closed for the day. Everyone had run off as fast as they could. It made sense. It made sense, considering what they had just seen on live TV. We tried to pay attention as much attention to our surroundings as possible as we headed forward.
Actually, no. Yeah, I don't even buy it. She's lying. She's not at the cafe. That's closed. Bullshit.
They were especially careful at the intersections. Another monster like that dragon could come rushing out of the shadows at any instant. We ran into one of them. We wouldn't stand a chance. I could hear the faint sound of someone yelling into a microphone. How do you know they're yelling into a microphone?
Yeah, I think megaphone is what you want there.
Yeah, it's gotta be megaphone.
The Shibuya area is extremely dangerous at this time. Please stay indoors and evacuate to the designated safety. You can't do both of those things. Classic cops.
I could see a police car in the distance,
Unfollowable directions.
moving slowly. There's probably an officer inside the car using his megaphone to urge people to evacuate. The car was slowly heading towards us. We stayed out here.
Doesn't translate.
Yeah, the policeman would tell us.
Like a different word for the two things.
Maybe.
Sorry.
The police would tell us if we had to leave. Would tell us we had to leave Shibuya. That would be the end of our investigation. Kazuki, this way. I ducked into a narrow alleyway so the car wouldn't find us. I felt like a criminal running from the police. Although, if the appearance of this other portal device really was our fault, maybe that wasn't totally wrong. We ran left and right through the maze of alleyways and finally came out in front of Parku. I gasped at what I saw there and quickly hid in the shadows. Kazuki wasn't as quick as I was, so I grabbed her hand and pulled. I ended up pulling her tightly up against my body with my arms around her. Sorry. Quickly let go. Kazuki didn't seem bothered by it, just adjusted her glasses. Did you see that? This time I quietly popped my head out to take a look. There was another portal device in front of Parku, and around it there were 3 monsters.
Oh
One
no.
was a yellow and black dragon. Was it a different colored version of the flameark dragon that had eaten the reporter? Now that I saw it up close, I was astonished at its size. The other 2 were 2-legged giants covered in thick white fur, a little less than 3 meters tall. Their arms were as thick as tree trunks. Fortunately, none of them seemed to have noticed us. We were stealth. A poison archdragon and 2 snow liches, maybe. They both ESO2 monsters? Kazuki nodded.
Seems like a safe bet.
It really did feel like I was looking at a computer.
Oh my god.
What's up?
It's linked to the ones in the game.
Uh-huh.
So they just spawned monsters out of the.
Yeah.
That's
It didn't seem
okay.
real.
That's what's happened.
Kind of stinks. I smelled something kind of rotten. It was a stinging stench that hung in the nose. I could see several
Poison
red
monsters,
lumps
man.
of the feet around the feet of the monsters.
Uh-oh.
I looked closely to see what they were and quickly realized that they had once been human, but now they were just bloody lumps of flesh. They'd been crushed, torn apart, left there. And it was more than just one or two people. There were at least 10 of them lying on the ground. When the number of portal devices had increased, so had the number of victims. Only then did I finally realize that the stench was coming from the corpses. Ugh. It was so awful I wanted to throw up. I'd seen a reporter die in the news today. It was shocking, sure, but it also felt like I was just watching a movie. It hadn't seemed real. But this smell was different. It was all too real. It told me what I was seeing was real before my brain had even started to process it. But I couldn't just continue standing here in shock. I needed to continue my investigation. That's the third portal we've seen so far. Which means it's safe to assume that there's a fourth and a fifth. How?
Is it?
How many of them are we going to find?
I mean, you can't assume that there isn't, but like...
Right. Ito might be fine.
Yeah.
What about Serika and Karusu? Maybe asking them for help was a mistake. I didn't realize that Shibuya had become so dangerous.
Why not? You watch someone get eaten by a goddamn dragon. This isn't rocket science, man.
Do you think there's any way to get rid of them? Kazuki shook her head helplessly. It would be best if we could get rid of them, maybe.
No shit.
I don't know if we can. What have you done before? You've made other things become real before, right?
No.
What happened to them? Did they just keep existing, or did they suddenly disappear at some point? For some reason, Kazuki smiled. Her smile was a mix of sadness and resignation. That was the only answer I needed. She seemed to be saying that there was no way to be lucky enough that they'd just disappear.
Like, wouldn't that be fucking nice? You think I wouldn't talk if it would just go away?
Right. Oh, is Shibuya gonna be like this forever? Suddenly I heard the faint noise of a car engine behind me. Just as I spun around, I heard the roar of the beast drowning out. I looked down the hill and... oh shit! I saw a patrol car barreling towards us at top speed. Behind it were 5 or so monsters storming after it.
No.
What is that? There were other monsters? And they're not just wandering around near the portal device, but they're moving around the city?
Oh god.
All 5 of them are the same types as the ones near the portal device. 3 were hairy giants and 2 were dragons. Wait, they're heading this way. They were really fast, too. Even the police car couldn't shake them off. Wait, that means the car is bringing the monsters towards us.
He's been sitting around playing the game for 3 days, and Sarah was like, oh, okay. I get it. I see what you want. I'm on it. I got you.
It's just that DSO. Anyone who trains is a jerk or an idiot, maybe. And by train, I know what she's saying there. She's talking about training a mob of monsters to the zone. So you can zone out if you're like about to die.
Because you're getting fucking killed. Because you went in too deep and got respawned.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know if that was a common thing that people did, but I understood the nuance. Hide! Let them pass by us. I pulled Kazuki by the hand and ran down the stairs to a shop that sold grilled beef tongue, because that's important.
That's it? Is that it? Is that all they sell?
I guess.
Or is it just one thing that was on the
As an
menu that you
example.
felt you needed to bring attention to?
At the bottom of the stairs were the entrance to the store, but all the lights are off inside. We hid inside
It's
and
a
waited for them
whole
to
ass
pass.
store.
I couldn't see what was going on from outside. From here. My only option was to rely on sound. I could hear the sound of the police car and the sound of the monster's footsteps shaking the earth. Kazuki gripped my hand tightly. They managed to find us. Just imagining it made me shiver. I don't think those huge monsters can fit down the tiny stairs, but hiding down here a good idea?
Next to all the beef tongue.
Right? There's nowhere to run if they see us. Kazuki and I instinctively clutched each other tightly, holding our breaths and focusing on the sounds outside. I could hear the squeal of tires as the police car turned down the intersection in front of us. The monsters howled again. The earth shook even more violently. Please don't notice us. All I could do is pray. Sounds got further away. Hear the police car either. On? Saved. Okay. And then I realized that Kazuki was clinging to me. Or more specifically, I was clinging to her. I've been holding her so tight that her chest was heaving up and down in pain. I'm sorry. I quickly backed away. Kazuki fidgeted a little and took several deep breaths. I bet that Minami Kata Kenji Sensei, the cool cat press author, would have been able to come up with the perfect dandy remark to say at a time like this.
Dandy remark.
I walked up the stairs and took another look at the portal device in front of the parku. Monsters were gone. The police car had drawn away the 3 monsters that were around the device. I'm going to make it past now. Two of us looked at one another and ran out the stairs. As we tried heading towards Spain Hill, I saw something odd and froze. The portal device was shining with a strange golden light. I could hear a loud noise like clashing metal. I watched in shock as the light around the portal device began to coalesce into a monster. It was the same thing we saw in the news, which meant that another one's coming out. I motioned to Kazuki, and we quickly turned back.
Oh my god, did she go into the game? I didn't even think about that. She got sprayed all over in blood, but what a trip.
By the time we made it back to the school, we were both too out of breath to run anymore. These monsters gonna keep appearing? If so, then maybe no one will be able to live in Shibuya anymore. It'll all be
Shibuya?
awful. I suddenly heard a brief blast from a siren. It was another police car. Was it the one that had been training the monsters earlier? I didn't see any monsters around. The police car stopped in front of us. The driver's side window opened and the officer within spoke to us.
Did you see another car come this way?
Kazuki and I both nodded.
Where'd you see it? Which way did it go?
In front of Parku. I didn't know which way it had gone since I hadn't seen it myself. As we stood there in silence, the policeman motioned to us.
Get inside, you two. It's dangerous out here. I'll take you somewhere safe. Do you two want to get killed? There are monsters everywhere. Come on, get in.
I almost told him that he should blame the police car that had been training them back there, but I changed my mind. This policeman was risking his life trying to protect us. He was fighting to get people out of the city, even if it meant facing the risk of being attacked by those horrific monsters. I couldn't turn him down just because I wanted to continue my investigations.
So you say training.
Yeah.
I say leading them away from people.
Next day, we all gathered in the club room. Ito said that they had come all the way around from Harajuku. That was pretty smart of him. It wasn't safe to walk around in Shibuya anymore. School itself was supposed to be closed, which made sense because of the portal device on the roof.
Oh my god.
No monsters had appeared from the school's portal device. Okay. I had no idea.
Right, I forgot that's where we were when the original one hit.
Lucy looked pale. Whenever I looked at her, she was silent and concerned. But I figured that was a normal reaction to have to what was currently happening in Shibuya.
100% is.
In contrast, Ito didn't look tired at all. Whenever my eyes met his, he would poke me with his elbow.
Hey, so when did you and Kazuki get like that?
And like what?
Don't try to fool me. I never thought you'd become a normie. And now you've gone and left me behind.
Dude, there's bigger things to worry about.
I'm amazed it was Kazuki, not Onoe or the Empress. I didn't expect her to be your type. So what? Are you feeding each other dried squid with your mouths? That's pretty naughty, damn it.
What the hell is he talking about? Is he stupid?
Ito-kun.
Bruce glared at him. The ice in her stare was well below freezing temperature.
If you're going to be disgusting, would you please just leave now and get eaten by a dragon? I'm sorry.
Bruce sighed and opened her bag. She'd brought an especially big bag today. She took out some wrapped boxes out of the bag and put them on the table.
Food. Nice. Eat these with Kazuki later.
I unwrapped them and saw they contained sandwiches. I'm fine, though. Why are you guys still
like
in
later,
Shibuya?
dingus.
Why haven't you and Dad left yet?
You are not fine. Do you think the convenience stores and supermarkets are open like usual?
I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't be.
Dragons. If you're not careful, you'll run out of food and be in big trouble.
To be honest, I was incredibly grateful.
Yeah.
Just like Caruso had said, none of the stores were open. Last night, we had to go all the way to Tamagaya to get food. And I'm having a Mountain View craze.
Is it just Onaway who's not here? Is she okay? I can read, I swear.
He was right. Serica wasn't here. I just set the meeting time to around noon.
Oh, I hate it.
All right. There are life-threatening monsters, kaiju, running around the city. One, your friends already... you convinced them to come out to meet you to discuss something. You don't set a specific time.
And it's just like a meh, you know. Guess she didn't make it. Maybe she will later. Who knows? We'll deal with it.
She set the meeting time to around noon. So it wasn't like she was late, but, you know, there are dragons running around. I was still worried.
I don't give a shit. Like, even if there aren't dragons running around, if you set a meeting at around noon, I am upset with you.
Shibuya was swarming with monsters right now. If one of them attacked her on the way to school. Just as I was thinking about going to look for her, the door to the club room flung open, and Serica came running in.
Around noon is not a time. Oh, everybody's here already.
Yeah, Serica, we said around noon. It is 12:05.
It is clearly
afternoon.
After around noon. Around noon 30. Am I late? If you're running late, then send us a message. Don't you know what's happening out there? Sorry. Yeah. I love the idea of just being like, oh yeah, right. No, you guys, I didn't even think about it. I just walked over here. I was a little late.
Slap her forehead. So. Shit, I knew I forgot.
Yeah, right. Dragons. Oh man, totally spaced on that. Isn't it kind of exciting to be at school when no one else is around? I just went for a run around the gym.
I don't know why she's late. I don't know whether she's brave, thoughtless, or just dumb. No, she's God, and she knows she's safe. I also don't know how she can even laugh at a time like that.
Oh, hey. Did you not call Hina-chan?
Why would we call Arimura? She's not part of the newspaper club.
Damn. You were attacked by a woman who shot fire from her hands, right? Wondered if that might have something to do with this.
Yeah, I mean, it does, but to be honest, it doesn't.
What?
It does, but it doesn't.
Say words that make sense. Huh? That doesn't make any sense.
You tell you're supposed to be on my side. If nothing else.
It's supposed to make sense.
He's not going to attack us again, I think. I'm not fully convinced that we'll never see her again, but... Arimura was fine after the attack, right?
I feel like she's a fucking puddle of goop on the roof. Probably cool.
Look, we're not in Arimura's story right now. She already had her day.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We were with her the whole time. She stayed at Albert Dorm that night. She was at Carmel the next morning, so we sent her home.
All right, and there's no need to worry about her. All right. Can I get started then? I asked you all to go search Shibuya yesterday, and I'd like to put together your findings to figure out how many portal devices are in Shibuya. I explained to everyone that they were called portal devices. Also that they came from a game called ESO2.
I don't understand. Can you explain better? What do these portal whatsits have to do with you and Hana-chan?
There's no real need to explain anything to you, is there? Okay? You're not going to understand either way.
Fuck you. Oh, right.
That was good enough for her.
Nailed it. But I want to know anyway. Totally fair. Takaru, please explain. I appreciate that. Yeah. You're right, I won't understand, but I want to know anyway, damn it. People are dead. A lot of people. What are those monsters? Oh, I saw them too. They were attacking a cop car, And then there was that like first live broadcast. What the hell are those things?
Monsters. Like literally.
No, I know.
More and
I
more
can
are showing
see.
up all the time.
They're multiplying? Seriously? Gross. There were bodies everywhere. It was awful. If you're saying that's your fault, then explain.
I
Real
might
shit.
I might be able to talk my way out of explaining things to Serika or Ito, but that's not going to work on Karusu. I did say on the phone yesterday that the portal devices and monsters might be my fault after all.
You know, yeah, that like smirk earlier from Kazuki, like, nope, they're totally here permanently. It's like dozens of people have died.
Kazuki was standing in front of the whiteboard, staring down at her feet. It wouldn't be right not to. After all that had happened, there was no way I'd be able to keep it a secret. It would probably just be better to explain things to everyone in the newspaper club, you think? And so I told them everything, including the secret of Kazuki's power.
Tell them nothing.
At first.
But I wouldn't have brought them here in the first place.
Right. At first, no one seemed to know how to react. After processing it, they all looked a little shocked. I thought Ito would tell me to stop joking around, but by the time I was halfway done, he was holding his head with his hands.
We've gotten to psychics, so yeah, seriously, this is insane.
Leave me?
I do. I couldn't figure out why you and Kazuki became so close out of nowhere. After all, I can't imagine you convincing Kazuki to be your girlfriend, but this explains it. Finally, a real explanation for why you two have been hanging out for 3 days. I like that. That is a solid best friend. Is that really what you're focusing on here?
Either way, I'm not interested in discussing whether what I just said was true or not. Let me focus on the portal devices now. Everyone nodded. All right. Oh, sorry.
All right. So should we all take turns telling you what we saw? Whether we saw any of those, what do you call them? Portal devices?
The police actually found us and drove us out of Shibuya yesterday. When I was in the police car, they told me what they knew. After everyone tells me what they saw, I'll compare it to what I heard from them.
All right, I'll start. I found 2 portals. One was floating right in front of Shibuya Police Station, down Meishidori. Yeah, between Abisu and the train station.
Right in front of Shibuya Police Station, huh?
I turned around and headed across Shibuya River toward Sakura Gokucho. Yeah, sure. And when I tried to cross Roppongi Dori, I saw one at the Shibuya Station, South Exit Bus Terminal.
South Exit Bus Terminal?
Shibuya Station, South Exit, yeah, the Cadence, whatever. Those monsters are nasty, huh? I thought one of the Easter Island statues had gotten up and started walking around.
In front of the Shibuya Police Station on Meijidori. Well, I mean, South Exit Bus Terminal at Shibuya Station, right? Mark this on the map.
Yes.
All right. Do want to save here because we want to get this right.
Okay. Oh, we have to actually fucking put down the pins?
Yeah.
Go to hell. What?
All right. So he said.
Okay.
One was in front of Shibuya Police Station, down Meijidori.
On Meijidori.
Oh. Shibuya Police Station, Meijidori, and South Exit Bus Terminal. All right.
Shibuya Station is right there up until the left.
This is the Shibuya Police Station right here.
There's the, okay, and that's Meijidori, so that's got to be one of them.
All right.
And then Shibuya Station.
And then South Exit Bus
Terminal.
That this one?
Exit Bus Terminal. What's down a bit?
That seems way too far down. Yeah, that seems way too far down.
Be it. Yeah, it's got to be that. I mean, right?
Well, I saved. So
wait, hold on. What's it say? Yeah, that's got to be the bus terminal.
Right.
Because the rest of it, yeah, the blue is the metro station. Okay. I don't know.
Double check.
Fingers crossed.
think I'm right.
It's funny if you can be wild. Yeah, how much?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. Yeah, they're gonna let you be wrong on that. That's like a silly. Anyway.
Well, there are two endings to
two.
this chapter: the good and the bad.
If you get it right,
Yeah.
and if you get it wrong, yeah. Oh, but one of them was found. Was the one from the news yesterday?
That's the one behind Sign City, right? Sign City was a pair of buildings right on the west side of Shibuya Station. It was a hotel and office complex with its own private railroad that survived the earthquake 6 years ago.
That's right. We went down a tiny alley on our way up through Dogenzaka.
Dogenzaka, huh?
The other one was right in front of the 107.
Dogenzaka.
Okay, so Dogenzaka. One was right in front. Oh, they just go there? Why do we got it?
And in front of 107. I should mark that information down too.
It's the one that's in the blue, the light blue up and to the right of the one that we've already. There's the 107 there. Anyway.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep, that one. I get it. That matches what I heard from the police. We found one device. It was right in front of Parku.
Parku.
The police seem to think that the monsters are active within a 100-meter radius of the portal devices. That was probably just as close as any of them had dared to get. Of course, there was a chance that even if you got that close, the monsters would see you, or that they attack you outside of that area.
Do the police know where all the portals are? How could they know if they know that?
Yeah, in addition to the ones you found.
Why don't we just start with the ones the police found?
Right? That seems about right.
It looks like they're surrounding the station. Does that mean anything?
That's a good point. Does that actually mean something?
Oh no, we're trying to get you guys to fucking catch on here, for fuck's sake. Oh, you caught our clue, my clue. Oh, that's nice. I actually left 8,000. Maybe they don't want people in Shibuya using the station. Why? Don't ask me. Just like hypothesizing here. Hey, Hana-chan, do you know?
Kazuki was still staring at her feet.
Oh, sorry. I'm not saying it's your fault, Hana-chan, although it is, and I'm saying that now. I was just trying to figure it out.
There's no meaning. It's all coincidence. I spoke as if to reprove Serika, but it was just as Nightheart had told me. I told you, remember? Kazuki can't control her power. The fact that the portal devices are showing up at places people go to a lot is proof of that. It's easier for delusions to echo in places like...
I understand.
Don't tilt your head in confusion when you say you understand. You obviously don't understand at all.
Anyway, this is really bad. What are you referring to specifically?
Like the overall situation, or...
Just gestures toward everything. There are a lot of people stuck in Hikariwa.
Huh? Who? Weren't they supposed to evacuate all the people left in the station?
Well...
Shibuya had been put under a heavy curfew yesterday. The police had gone around evacuating anyone they could find. Last night, all the train companies had stopped transit to Shibuya Station. They weren't sure the station would be safe.
Reasonable.
The station had been shut down and the shutters lowered. A lot of people have been trapped then. There was a big debate online about how to get them out.
Helicopters.
As of this morning, one of the railroad companies had put together a desperate plan to send a train to the station to get the people out.
I heard there's a bunch of people who deliberately didn't evacuate,
and they're all in the Hikariwa. You know how there's all those homeless people in the Miyashita Park, right? Those are the guys in the Hikariwa.
Gee, anywhere else to go? Ensign is there too. I'm worried about him. Who knows how safe it is to hide there for refuge?
The station's been sealed off, right? This is kind of like how things were 6 years ago. Don't you think so, Taku? Dun dun dun.
Don't say that. I also noticed the little ellipses from Karusu. Like she's like, you don't trust Erica.
Don't say that shit. Yeah. I say that. Being like that.
A month ago, I would have been so excited about this situation, but only because I probably wouldn't have been involved. Now things were different. I was partially to blame for this. I couldn't feel any excitement at all.
It's funny that they like point out in ellipses when nobody responds, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's like one person, ... Everybody really ... it there, though. Like,
Right. They're all trying to come up with plans to fix things, but no one had any real ideas. We knew the answer from the beginning. Since there was no way to control Kazuki's powers, there was no way for her to erase her real-booted delusions. After about 2 hours, we started to realize that it might not be safe to stay at the school and decided to head home.
Takoru, you don't have anywhere to go, do you? Why not come home?
By home, she meant Aoba dorm. She didn't have a point. She did have a point. I couldn't go back to Miyashita Park. It was likely there were monsters there.
Taku's staying with Hana-chan now, right?
How rude.
Huh? Kazuki shook her head
Fucking
furiously.
deck you.
Hey, Miyashiro, are you taking baths while you're there? You run into her naked in the bath yet?
Ito, is this really the time for this conversation? Ito, why the hell is it all you care about at a time like this?
Solid. Ito-kun, enough. I don't know if that ever actually happens.
An interesting line from Serica.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always together, right? It would make sense.
Like, she wouldn't, right? Because she's like got no fucking idea what anything is.
Right. Kazuki's face turned bright red as she pounded the wall.
Nothing like that's happened, she says. I see. I'm sorry.
It's rare to see Kazuki so upset.
So, Takaru, what will you do? Come home?
No, I won't. Can't leave Kazuki alone.
Then both of you can come.
Can't do that. Might put the dorm in danger.
That's not... Taku, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Alright. Then let's go, everybody. Come on, you two, Non-chan.
Why are you in charge of the situation there now, Serica? What's up?
Because I will murder everyone if they do not go along with your whims, Taku. Late, Serica. Taku, Hana-chan, bye-bye.
Erica smiled and waved, then grabbed Ito and Karusu by the hand and went to leave the room.
World's greatest wingman. Takaru, take care of Kazuki. If something happens, call me right away. Got it?
Yeah. Karusu looked like she wanted to say more, but Serica dragged her out. First of all, I don't ever see a realm where Karusu lets Serica drag her anywhere, but... I don't know.
Yeah, but still.
Serica dragged her out.
I don't know. Serica's like a violent murderer.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, she could, probably.
Kazuki and I were left alone in the club room.
This is awkward now.
I just decided that on my own. Was that okay? If you don't want me coming over anymore, just tell me. Shook her head again. That was all she'd been doing lately.
Know what?
But then she suddenly started to talk. Even though she'd been so insistent about not talking when everyone else was around. Maybe that meant she trusted me.
It's your psychic, so she's
Is
not to worry about it.
Senpai going to be upset? Ant, if you come to my room, Senpai might be upset. Maybe. Why?
Oh my god, bro.
Because you two are dating, right? Huh? No, not. Huh? But you're always together, maybe? Because we've known each other since we were like little kids. You're not dating. I didn't know that, maybe. Kazuki get mad back there because she didn't want Sarika misunderstanding things? If so, then she was wasting her time.
Sarika's gonna misunderstand things either way.
Still, I can't believe you thought that. I'm a little surprised.
Honestly?
Yeah, it didn't seem like you cared about anyone else. Anyway, let's go home. It might be dangerous here. But then I realized Kazuki had sat down at the PC to play ESO too.
Yep.
And she had her headphones on. Wait, when did you start the game? Sheesh.
Start? When did I stop?
You must have been really excited to play her game. Kazuki's gaze was locked on the monitor. She didn't look away for an instant. Her concentration was palpable. If I'd interrupted her, she might punch me instead of the wall. I figured that wouldn't hurt to let her play her game for a while. Since I didn't have much to do while she was playing her game, I decided to go up to the roof. Of course, I didn't go to the back. I just went up past the crumbling stairs to look outside. The portal device was still floating out there. But unlike the one in front of Parku, there were no bodies anywhere. Just a single red stain on the floor. Were monsters not going to appear from this one? I felt an indescribable terror welling up within me. It was so scary being here alone. I ran back to the club room.
Can we not be here?
Once Kazuki started her game, she wouldn't take her headphones off no matter how much I yelled at her. She was totally lost within her game, and I'd totally forgotten I'd ever existed. That's right, that's who Kazuki Hinae is. She wouldn't normally use her powers to save me, regardless of the risk, or let me stay in her room. Normally, this is who she is. I've been living with her in the same room for a few days, so I briefly forgot about that. Still, I'm amazed how she could play a game for so long without any breaks. Doesn't she ever have to go to the bathroom? Actually, I remember that Cool Cat Press once said an article on gamers who never left their seats. They said a true gamer would rather keep playing than take the time to go to the bathroom. So if they had to go,
don't like where this is
they would use a plastic soda bottle or something like that. When I saw the article,
you need a funnel and a soda bottle.
I thought it had to be fictional. But now that I'm watching Kazuki like this, I'm not so sure anymore. Wait, does Kazuki ever go in soda bottles?
I might be wrong, but I don't think that the logistics there work out.
No. Now, what the hell am I thinking? Ever since I started living in the same room as her, I started having more and more delusions like that. Maybe it was just because I was a boy, still going on through puberty. But later, I'd come to hate myself for feeling that way, given all that it was going on.
Meh.
Huge noise almost caused me to jump up in the air. Kazuki had hit the wall again. What had happened to upset her this time? I looked outside the window. It was turning red. It was surprisingly noisy outside. There wasn't a single person inside or outside the school.
Surprisingly noisy for a day in which, hordes of dragons were rampaging across the streets.
The noise was coming from the police sirens on the ground and the media helicopters up above. The media had decided it was too risky to head into Shibuya directly, so they were forced to do the reporting from the sky. Still, it felt like they'd been there all day, from morning to night. I was amazed they hadn't gotten bored. Without anyone here in Shibuya, it wasn't like anything interesting would happen to anyone.
Oh my god. Dragons!
Suddenly,
just running around.
I thought I heard a different noise in the sound of the helicopter rotors. I held my breath and listened.
Each of these endings goes so far into its own direction. It's wild.
It didn't seem like I was imagining it. Yeah, that's why they're crazy. I could hear the sound. It was a sound I normally never pay attention to, but a sound that I definitely should have heard in this building at this point in time. Someone's footsteps were coming down the hall. That was enough to bring me a memory back of several days ago. That woman still alive? Particularly nasty sweat started to pour out of my body. This sweat was particularly nasty.
Let me tell you.
I tried my best not to make a sound as I concentrated all my focus into my ears. Footsteps didn't sound like the person was wearing heels. I didn't hear any dragging. It wasn't that woman. At least, what I wanted to believe. But then, who? Was someone beside us still in the school? Ooh. The others had gone home hours ago. Had they come back? But wouldn't they call or text first? I peeked into the teacher's office when I arrived and there was no one there. The only other possibility I could think of is that someone beside us had ignored the police warning and stayed in Shibuya. The footsteps were getting closer.
I forgot they ignored a police warning.
Yeah.
Staying.
I tapped Kazuki on the shoulder and made her take off her headphones. Someone's coming. What did we do? Hide? Run out into the hallway? They probably already know we're here. Nobody would come all the way to the 5th floor of this building otherwise. Then who could they be? Maybe the mastermind who was controlling that woman. If that's the case, then it'd be a bad idea to try and hide. But I really doubt that Kazuki and I would be able to fight them either. In that case, we have to run away. Better than hiding. Kazuki, we're going to run. I saw Kazuki nod and took a deep breath, and I opened the door. I ran out to the hallway, but there was someone standing there, and I ran straight into them.
Serica?
I lost my balance and almost fell over. Someone grabbed my hand as it flailed out into the air.
Are you okay?
I know who this is.
It's your teacher.
I gotta do the voice, yeah. Huh?
That's right.
It was only then that I realized who it was. The voice I had for him. Mr. Wakui? Hey, so it was you guys, huh?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Language teacher, who was also the advisor for the newspaper club and student council, looked at us both and grinned.
Yet to find out how he's secretly a murderer.
There was a call from some of the parents. Wakui nibbled on the dried squid Kazuki offered him as he explained.
Oh.
They were showing shots of Shibuya from the sky in the news, and someone said they saw people in the building. So I came to check on you. Sheesh, I can't cut me a break, you know? They was laugh. It was just like Wakui to end up being forced into coming here because he couldn't bring himself to refuse. We managed to make it here because we knew a lot about the situation in Shibuya, but Wakui must have come here without doing any research at all. Wrongsiders like him were always the first to die. Too much time in peaceful Japan had addled his brain. What are you doing? They closed the school because it's dangerous. Huh? How should I talk my way out of this? There's no point in telling Wakui the truth, after all. As I tried to figure out the best way, Kazuki walked back to the computer and booted up ESO2 again.
Killing
Wakui stared at her suspiciously for a moment. Were you playing your games? Kazuki nodded without looking away from the screen. So, that's why? You guys know people have died, right? It's safer to be inside the school than outside, right?
I
guess. Would it be safer to leave Shibuya altogether?
Yeah.
They live in Miyashita Park. Oh, right. There's nowhere you can go. Know this place? This conversation is pointless. I've known Wakui since
so much respect for this guy, clearly.
I've known Wakui since I started the newspaper club. Did I never tell him that I don't have any relatives? Anyway, I do know how you feel. Huh? I mean, Shibuya is basically under martial law, right? It's not every day you get to experience that. Even if you know it's dangerous, you probably still want to experience it.
Gotta get out there and
I guess
live under that jackboot.
Follies of youth. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, honestly. Oh, you seem confused to hear that. Listen, you know, I was young once too, you know?
That's how time
I'm not
works.
confused. I'm just bored. I get the feeling this is going to take a while. Not to mention he's totally trying to pull off the teacher who understands his students act. There's nothing wrong with that, Mr. Wakui, but you're wasting your time trying to understand me and Kazuki right now. Young always want to rebel against the system, against adults. In fact, the first few decades after World War II, Japan was filled with young people like that.
Oh my god, I'm not at... The school's closed!
Yes, it was around the parents' generation when things started to calm down. They're a little too understanding, you see, especially my generation, the ones after us. I wasn't sure how to respond to this. What was the best way to get rid of this guy? I couldn't let him find out Kazuki and I were staying in the same room, which meant that ideally, I wanted to leave the school without him. My phone started to vibrate in my pocket. Wakui was still talking, but I took it out anyway as a sign that I wasn't interested in hearing what he had to say. I got a message. It was from Kazuki.
Brutal.
Kazuki? I looked up. Kazuki was still playing ESO 2 with her back to me. But when I looked carefully, I saw that she was holding her smartphone with a hand that wasn't holding the mouse. Why would she send me an email when I'm standing right in front of her? It's always so hard to tell what
Been through
Kazuki is
this
thinking.
before.
Or maybe there's something important she can't tell me because Wakui is here.
Cunning? Maybe read the email.
My curiosity piqued, so I looked at the email. Huh? Is Shirokun? Is something wrong? Oh. No. Yeah, alright. Anyway, where was I? Well, you see, Aku was still talking. Why is this talkative? Heart was pounding loud and fast. My mind still couldn't process it. I couldn't believe what I just saw in that email. I took another look at it, being careful not to let Wakui see. Message from Nightheart. Mr. Wakui is an assassin from the committee.
Uh-huh.
Committee would be the committee of 300 that Nightheart brought up, right? Their assassin is Wakui, of all people? The language teacher?
Right.
The guy who's rambling on right in front of me? By the way, what was the name of that thing you were looking into? Huh? You know, the one on the board. Did you find something out? Can I believe him or not? Nightheart said that the committee of 300 might take action, but he didn't tell me why. What exactly?
Well, that's
are they
not really
after?
relevant.
He really is an assassin. Are they trying to kill me and Kazuki? Do they not like what's happening in Shibuya? Do they not like what's happening in Shibuya right now? Of course not. No one would like that. Not just the committee. But killing us won't magically make things better. Doesn't the committee know that? And again, even if I told them that, will they really just leave us alone? Or is there another reason why they want to kill it? I don't know.
Will it not?
There's no
Wait,
way for me to
wouldn't
know.
killing Kazuki solve it?
I don't know. All I have are guesses.
I don't know.
Was what Nightheart said even true anyway? Does the committee of 300 even exist? Where did he find out? How? What was his source? Looking back on it now, it's hard to say if he's even on our side. Kazuki seems to trust him now. Is it possible that Nightheart is the real assassin from the committee of 300? If I want to be really skeptical, I can't even be sure that Nightheart is the one that contacted Kazuki right now. There's
Also
a chance
true.
that she's lying to me. I don't know why, but there's a chance she might be trying to make me think Wakui's a bad guy. There are all sorts of things to doubt. I'm so confused. Who should I believe in? Who? Who should I believe? Who am I supposed to believe?
Love where your head's at.
Hey, Miyashiro-kun. Hearing my name called shook me out of my trance. Evidently, I've been lost in thought. You look kind of pale. Oh, well, I'm fine. What were we talking about again? About the case? That's right.
Ace, huh?
You were doing a lot of crazy things while you were looking into that case, right? Katsuki looked over his shoulder at me. When I saw a little bit of fear in her eyes, I made my decision. That's right. Even if I don't know whether or not I can trust Nightheart, there is no way I can't trust Kazuki. He's not the type of person who would lie to someone. Not to mention, it doesn't make much sense for Wakui to be here right now anyway. He's the type of person who'd go out of his way to avoid trouble. Would he really put himself in danger by coming to Shibuya just because a parent called? Karisa-kun was complaining to me a long time ago. She told me you weren't listening to anything she said, so she wanted me to talk to you. Huh?
Long time ago?
Then why is Wakui rambling on like this? If he's an assassin, wouldn't he just try to kill us? They wouldn't send a complete amateur. He should be capable of killing us. I realized I was more nervous than I thought, but I couldn't let it show. If Wakui found out, I was finished. No, when I was a student, I would hear about the wars and terrorist attacks going on all over the world, and I think about it a lot. I actually ended up putting on a backpack and going on a trip. You know, one of those find yourself trips. I'm kind of surprised. Right? I was young then. What could be the reason that Wakui's still talking about all this? I can't eliminate the possibility that Nightheart is wrong. If he is, then I'll be fine, but it would be safer to assume the worst case scenario. Possibility number one. He's trying to drag out the conversation to learn something from him. His target might just be me.
He's talking.
Or it might just be Kazuki. Or if he isn't sure who it is yet. Maybe he's only after the person who created the portal device and he isn't sure that if it was me or Kazuki. Possibility number two. Hesitant. He's our club advisor after all. It's possible he feels some kind of sympathy for us. No, there's no chance of that. But you know, I took your side. I understand how Karusu-kun feels, but you know, I'm a man, like you. Just waiting for us to fall in this trap? Or is he just not worried because he doesn't think we know who he really is? Send a quick message back to Kazuki. And a run.
He's
So
keeping
was
an
once
eye
a
on
boy. I sympathize. Wasn't just that you were too lazy to come to lecture me?
you.
How rude. Well, to be honest, you're right. A response immediately came back from Kazuki. How?
With our legs.
Now I just wanted to get out of this room. Get away from Wakui too, if I can manage it. But you know, it's not good to go too far. Huh? You're still students, you see. If you break the law, you could ruin your whole futures. You mean the reporting that we're doing? Huh? No, we haven't done anything wrong. That scared me. I thought he was talking about something else. Next thing I knew, my throat was parched. I gulped down the entire Mountain Dew I just bought from a vending machine earlier. Looking bad. Both Kazuki and I are powerless. There's basically no chance of both of us getting away. I might have to pick the better of two bad choices. My only hope for avoiding the worst possible outcome. Hey, Kazuki.
Can you go grab X, Y, or...
Kazuki jerked up, and when I spoke to her, she slowly, fearfully turned around. She was so nervous her movements were stiff. Come on, act natural. Can you go get me something to drink? I just ran out. Wait, Miyashiro-kun, are you still planning on staying here? I really have to get you guys home. I want to hear more about what you have to say.
Oh my god.
What? Really? That makes me happy. Students these days always seem to get bored when I talk about old times.
Or talk.
Why don't we do an article for the newspaper club? We could do a whole special on you.
Ugh.
You're embarrassing me. I was shocked to find out you're speaking so easy. Speaking as well as Ito. And Kazuki wants to keep playing her game for a while, right? Kazuki stood up, uncertain. We'll stay here for a while, so go get me something to drink from the vending machine. I took a coin out of my pocket and practically forced it into Kazuki's hands. Thanks. Run away without me. I tried to motion to her with my eyes. I didn't know if she understood. She nodded reluctantly. Then she slipped past me and headed for the door. Kazuki-kun, are you okay? Do you want me to go with you? Watching us? Did he figure us out? His expression was the same as it had been for a while now. It was the same goofy look her students always joked about. She says she's fine. There's nobody here at the school right now anyway. If you want something to drink too, maybe you could ask Kazuki to get it for you? And then I realized that I might have made a mistake.
Yep.
Kazuki's hand was already on the doorknob. Oh, maybe I will. I'll take a can of coffee. The one with a little bit of sugar. You know, the one that means it's for mornings on it, and it's in a red can. And, oh, you know what I mean? It's for... Okay. Kazuki glanced over at me. You're worrying too much about me. So figure out that something's wrong. Wakui was rummaging through the inner pocket of his suit. I never put coins in my wallet, you know. I always keep them in different pockets. So if I ever drop my wallet, I won't lose as much money. Oh, that doesn't go for bills, though. I put them in a bill holder.
Oh my god, so what is in your wallet? What's in your wallet?
I'm talking today. How long does it take to search for change? And you know, if you forget where you put your money, when you find it again, you feel like you made a lucky discovery. You need those kind of small joys in life. Mr. Wakui, hurry up and give her the money. I'm really thirsty. I got a little aggravated and my tone was a bit harsh. But I instantly regretted it. If I didn't act calm, Wakui would figure out what I was up to. Sorry, I'm having so much trouble finding it. Oh, here we go. Wakui finally turned out 200 yen that was out of his pants pockets. Okay, thanks. Kazuki spread out her hand. It was holding the few coins that I'd given her. Wakui put his hand over hers and dropped 2 100 yen pieces. Coins fell. They collided with the coins in Kazuki's hand.
Oh my god.
And then didn't make a sound. Huh? That's weird. I should be able to hear the sound of 2 small pieces of metal colliding from...
Unless...
So, this whole past, 5 minutes or so, who's been talking?
Ding dong.
Anybody else?
No.
I should be able to hear the sound of 2 small pieces of metal colliding from this close by. Walker was rummaging through his pockets again as he opened and closed his mouth. What is he doing? Something feels off. Then I realized why I felt that way. Walker was talking to Kazuki, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. What the? I put my fingers in my ears to see if it was clogged. And then I noticed something else weird. Normally, I've been able to hear the sound of my fingertip touching my eardrum. But no matter how many times I jammed my finger in a small hole, I didn't hear a sound. Come to think of it, I haven't heard any other sound for a while either. What's going on? I tried speaking to Kazuki. Something weird going on? I was sure that I said that out loud,
Mop.
but I couldn't hear my own voice. Kazuki didn't respond at all. He was just looking at the coins in her hands like he was about to cry. Can you hear me? I yelled louder, but it didn't work. Why? It doesn't make any sense. My hearing was normal a second ago. There was no way I could just go deaf out of nowhere like that. Something weird had to be happening right now. But I have no idea what it could be. I tried to tell myself that I might be hallucinating. I closed my lips and stood as still as I could. Listened carefully. It wasn't pure silence. I could hear what sounded like a ringing in my ears. Still hear it. How does ringing in a person's ears work anyway? Does it really sound in the strictest sense? Made by vibrating air? Or is it some kind of supersonic wave? Suddenly, I felt very nervous, and I opened up my web browser on my phone to run a search. When I read what I found there, I got scared. Stress is said to be one cause, but it's still unknown where exactly in the body it occurs. What the hell? I was sure that modern medicine would have an answer for that. More important things to focus on here now, Takaru. How could they just say they don't know? Once I started noticing it, I couldn't ignore the ringing. Constant noise started to seem extremely unpleasant. Why was I hearing this ringing and nothing else? I looked back at Kazuki. She was holding her ears and looking around frantically. Happening to her, too? Kazuki! I tried yelling. Kazuki didn't respond, but Wakui looked at me. His lips twisted into a grin. Him! He was like a totally different person. The face of the lazy, unreliable teacher had changed completely. The easygoing, peaceful smile was gone. And that was when I knew for sure. He really is an assassin from the committee. Just like Neidhart had said. What's happening to me right now must be because of him. But how is he possibly doing this? Is he a psychic too?
Would almost have to be.
It felt like the ringing was growing louder. That's all I could hear. It kept ringing at the same frequency, never letting up. It was like it was stabbing into my brain. I wanted to run, but I couldn't. There was no point in putting my hands over my ears. The ringing hadn't even been there for that long, but I already felt like I was going crazy. I screamed. I tried yelling as loud as I could, but it didn't work. No matter how much I howled, I couldn't hear my own voice. Who could have known it would be so stressful not to be able to hear your own voice? I put my hand on my throat and screamed again. I could feel my vocal cords vibrating. I knew I had to be speaking, but all I could hear was the noise. Was this really just a ringing in my ears anyway? It seemed like endless thunder in the sky. Maybe I was starting to go crazy. Maybe hearing the ringing for so long meant that I couldn't even recognize it as ringing anymore. Maybe I was just hallucinating. My head started to hurt, maybe. My field of vision kept wavering. I couldn't keep my balance. Even standing up became difficult. It was like standing on the deck of a ship during a storm. I fell to my knees, unable to stay up any longer. I begged to hear another sound. I slapped my own body and slammed my smartphone into the ground, desperate to hear any other kind of sound, but it didn't work. Then I felt my phone vibrating and looked at the screen. I got another email. Was it from Kazuki? Maybe she found a solution. I opened it, hopeful. But of course, my hopes were immediately crushed. It was from Wakui, not Kazuki. This is what it said.
Suck it, nerd.
They say that in a completely silent environment, a mind will go mad within 45 minutes. I looked up. Wakui was looking down at me with a cruel smile on his face. There was a can of coffee in his hands. I wasn't sure how he'd gotten it. He took a slow sip from it and laughed. What happened to Kazuki? I spun my head around, desperately looking for her. She was rolled up in a ball by the entrance of the room. She covered her ears in her hands and was shaking. She couldn't escape either. Did Wakui know all along? That we knew who he was and were trying to escape? I thought I could get the initiative, but he'd been laughing at me the whole time. Still, is there anything I can do about this ringing sound? I thought it was a constant frequency, but it wasn't. There was a faint rhythm. Sound. I need to get rid of it somehow. Otherwise, I might really go crazy, just like Wakui said. Then my phone shook again. There was another email from Wakui. Do you want to know what this sound is? Looked up at Wakui, nodded. He laughed. He seemed truly happy, and moved his lips in big, easy-to-read motions. The sound of your body. It was the only then that I realized that I was making so much noise. That there were so many different chaotic noises within my own body. It made sense. It was normal for a living creature. My head was beating, my blood vessels contracted, my blood cycled, my cells were dying, and new ones were being born. My lungs inhaled oxygen and exhaled carbon dioxide. My organs emitted all kinds of different fluids. My intestines contracted. My nails were growing. My hair was growing. All of those things made up tiny little sounds. Normally, you would go through your entire life without hearing the sounds your own body made. But now, when my sense of hearing shut off, they were overflowing from within me. They were the sounds of my life. But there was no joy in hearing the breath of life so directly. I wasn't trying to make these sounds. It felt like my body wasn't mine. It felt like something was giving my body orders without asking my permission. And once I started thinking that way, I couldn't stop. My mind and body separated. There was nothing but the terrifying sounds of life. My own body scared me. I wanted to rip my mind away from this lump of flesh. I wanted to rip off my skin and yank out my lungs, my heart, my intestines, every single organ, every single blood vessel. I screamed in fear, but I couldn't hear myself. Only the chaotic sounds of my body as they played in layered harmony. And since there was nothing else to hear, I was forced to listen. I was forced to imagine which organ was making each sound. The sounds overlapped more and more, with this harmonious noise that bounced off the walls of my skull. I didn't know if it was a real sound, an echo, or if I was just hallucinating. My thoughts were swept up in the flood of sound. It doesn't make sense. Why am I suffocating in a flood of sound if I can't hear? How long is this going to last? The rest of my life? Till I die? I can't take that. Didn't he say after 45 minutes I'll go insane? I'm not even going to last that long. I don't want to hear this noise for another second. Someone turn it off. I'll do anything as long as you turn it off. I'd rather die. I want to die. Kill me. I crawled along the floor and reached my hand out towards Wakui's feet. Kill me. Begged for death. Kill me. Wait for the silence that awaited beyond it. Kill me! Release me from this sound, please. Kill me! Ah! Suddenly, a sound like shattering glass traveled from my ears to the rest of my body. I could finally hear my own voice again. The sound of my shallow breathing was surprisingly clear. And it wasn't just that. The sound of my clothes rustling, tiny chirping of birds in the distance, the sound of wind, the leaves blowing through the trees, the sounds of a police car siren, the sound of Kazuki's pain coughing as she curled up in a ball next to me. I could hear all those tiny sounds. I could hear every single sound in the world with abnormal clarity. This happened. Vision was blurry. My head still hurt. But the sound was back. I'd never been so happy in my life to hear all this noise. I'd see that we were interrupted. Wakui spoke calmly as he walked to the windowsill. The glass in the clubroom window was broken. He picked up something off the floor. It was a ball. Baseball, huh? A coincidence? I think not.
Erica.
A baseball came through the window? And that was what interrupted Wakui's attack? But this is the 5th floor. Who threw that ball? The baseball team isn't practicing outside. There's dragons out there. And this room doesn't even face the baseball diamond anyway. The only people in the whole surrounding area, just be me, Kazuki, and Wakui. I suppose this is her way of saying that if I'm going to mess with Miyashiro-kun and his friend, I need to give her a very good reason. Jeez, he really does spoil you, Miyashiro-kun.
Fucking called
What?
it.
Doesn't seem to be talking to anyone. Not speaking to us. Not on the phone. What the hell's he talking about? Alright, that's enough for today, I guess. Miyashiro-kun, Kazuki-kun, I'm afraid we'll have to continue this another time. Wakui's voice was gentle, but he didn't even glance down at us as he went to the door. I'll tell you one thing, though. I don't think you can... Gone too far. The committee has designated you as an enemy of the world. The matter's been decided, you see. No matter where on Earth you run, we'll use our worldwide network to track you. We won't let you escape. Never. Goodbye. Be careful on your way home.
There's dragons.
Wakui left, and Kazuki and I were left alone. I could hear Kazuki moan. Hear her breathing clearly. Kazuki, are you okay? I was surprised to hear my voice. Is this really what my voice sounds like? Kazuki was still lying on the ground, shaking her head. Of course she wasn't okay. I looked closer and saw there was a puddle on her legs.
Oh God!
Her
Why
skirt
does
was
this keep
strangely
happening?
Her skirt was strangely wet, too. She must have peed herself when Wakui attacked her. I don't blame her. That's just how terrifying that horrible experience was. But why did Wakui let us go? Why did he only torture us instead of killing us?
With the light, the glowing light with the fucking puddle on the. I'm like, why? Why?
I didn't know. I didn't want to think about it, Eric. I didn't know.
I know.
I didn't even have the energy to stand up. Forced myself to do so anyway. At the very least, I didn't want to stay here. There was probably nowhere that was safe, but I wanted to get away before Wakui changed his mind. I let Kazuki lean on my shoulder as we left the school. October 17th, Saturday. It was after 7 p.m. in the evening. There wasn't a single train car coming down the Yamanori line. And it wasn't just the trains. The entire city of Shibuya was now a ghost town. There was no light, nothing moved. The town itself was eerily clean. That was the big difference between now and 6 years ago. Wakui went inside. Oh, this is Wakui's perspective. Wakui went inside the pedestrian's tunnel into the tracks, listening to the voices of the monsters howling in the distance. The night wind blew past him, colder than before.
By Serica.
The moonlight didn't reach inside the tunnel, so it was extremely dark. Wakui could sense a lone girl in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, right on time, I suppose. The girl he summoned moved away from the wall she'd been leaning on and stood with her back to the moonlight. Her eyes shone with a strange light that made Wakui shudder. You can have this back. Here. Wakui tossed the baseball he was holding at the girl. She didn't even try to catch it. Instead, it struck her in the chest and fell to the floor, where it bounced several times, because Serica's a badass.
That's such a badass move, honestly. Like, don't even react. Like,
You don't need it back?
metal.
Or was it school property?
Tell me why you attacked Miyashiro, Tokaru, and Kazuki Hana.
That was what the girl, Onoe Serica, demanded to know. It wasn't her usual feminine voice either. You could hear the arrogance in it. Wakui deserved her respect given his position, but she showed no sign of it. He didn't like that at all, but he also didn't feel like bringing it up. The committee, as well as Wakui, its messenger, had decided to respect Serica's position, at least for as long as their interests were aligned. Are you willing to fight the committee, depending on my answer? You interrupted me back there. That was more than sufficient for the committee to decide to eliminate you.
I won't let you kill Miyashiro Tokaru on a whim. If you want to try, you need to tell me why. Depending on your reason, I'll either allow it or cut ties with you.
Allow it, huh? Well, I guess that was the deal we made. But he really is all you ever think of, isn't he? Quite impressive. The Committee of 300 was cooperating with Onoe Serica. Or, to be more precise, they were allowing her to get away with what she was doing.
Tell me why.
Serica glared directly at Wakui. She didn't look away for an instant. Her face was expressionless, and it was hard to believe that a teenage girl could be so calm in this situation. Wakui slumped his shoulders in a slightly exaggerated fashion. Our problem is with Kazuki Hana, not Miyashiro Tokaru. He's gone too far. This is the same nonsense we went through 6 years ago.
Ooh.
We've been very quietly performing our experiments here in the city, and now there's all this chaos. Since she can't control her power, it's not fair to put all the blame on her. But still, the fact of the matter is that this delusion she's rebooted is what caused this problem. The actions of the one girl has disrupted our order in Shibuya, and maybe even the entire world. There are also unconfirmed reports that Nishio Takumi may be backing her as well. This matter isn't settled. Not only will the world find out about gigalomaniacs, but the whole world might be swallowed up by Kazuki Hana's delusions. I can see from the look on your face that you think the committee is overreacting. That's just who we are. If the committee wasn't this conscious, we would never have gotten this far. Thus, we've designated Kazuki Hana an enemy of the world. But still, she's a very rare test sample, and it would be such a waste to kill her. So the committee has settled on a plan of driving her insane and capturing her alive.
Is that really a good play?
Miyashiro Taku is just an afterthought. I don't think there's any other reason beyond the fact that he was with her. We have our agreement with you as well. I've got no intention on killing him. I just wanted to teach him a lesson. Once we have Kazuki Hana, we plan on giving him back to you. But of course, if you so wish, we can kill him instead. Hey.
Erica thought for a moment and lightly kicked her foot against the wall of the tunnel. Sound echoed down the tunnel.
You've told me your reason, so I'll allow it.
That was her answer.
So you let me decide whether to kill him or let him live? Is that it?
Yes,
You're sure?
it's fine.
You really are insane. So long as Miyashiro Taku enjoys it, you're willing to sacrifice the man himself. Or maybe you're just simply born with different values than the rest of us.
Mhm.
By the way, I'm unfortunately not an entertainer, so I may not be as good at this as you are. Keep that in mind.
Erica ignored his joke. It was clear that she felt discussions were finished.
Ask you one question. What do you intend to do after Miyashiro Taku dies?
There's nothing for me after that.
Erica laughed
And turned around to leave.
I see. How noble.
Mhm.
Oh, Onoe-kun, there are monsters around, so be careful on your way home.
But Serica didn't even bother looking back.
All right, if that's the deal, maybe I can be a little more open with how I act. I could lure out Nishio Takumi too. That would be ideal. But for now, the problem is Kazuki Hana, Miyashiro Takaru.
Wakui took out his phone and dialed a number on the contact list. The phone rang for a while before it connected.
Yes, hello.
I'm Mr. Wakui, the student council advisor. I need to speak with the student council president for a moment. Is she available?
You called me.
Dawn came. We spent over 12 hours running with no real destination in mind. After Wakui's attack, Kazuki and I had hidden in a Shinzen Love Hotel. All this chaos had turned Shibuya into a ghost town. There were several love hotels in Shinshin that had closed down. We snuck inside one of them and held each other tight, hiding and trying to make as little noise as possible. I knew that it wasn't going to do us much good. It was obvious Wakui knew everything he needed. But even if it was only a difference of a few percentage points in the likelihood of us being found, I wanted to stay somewhere else rather than stupidly going back to the dorm. Of course, spending all my time in one place meant that I had nothing to do but think and worry. He might find us if we stay here. He might have already found us. He could attack us at any minute. Those fears became delusions, and those delusions threatened to drive me crazy. So every hour or two, we would hide somewhere else. Since we couldn't get close to Shibuya Station, we went to bookstores, department stores, McDonald's in the area. They were all closed, so we used Kazuki's dice sword to break their shutters and go inside, then hid there for just a few hours. And no matter how many times we went into a different place, my worry didn't disappear. The power Wakui had shown us was just that overwhelming. It wasn't physical power, it was psychological torture that drained all of your will to resist. Just remembering it made my whole body shrivel up with terror. Of course, I didn't get a wink of sleep. Kazuki was no different. She spent the whole time clinging to me and shaking. She was so weak that she couldn't even walk on her own. She was physically exhausted, of course, but the psychological exhaustion was worse. She hadn't even tried to say a word since then. I tried to pry her off me, but she stubbornly kept clinging. So I had no choice but to walk with my arm around her. Kazuki, we're here. We've been heading for a manga cafe. Fortunately, there are plenty of places to hide in Shibuya right now. Shutters were down at the entrance of the building with the manga cafe. Kazuki, break it open. Break it for us. Come on, please. Instead of taking her dice sword out, Kazuki just kept clinging to me. I had no choice but to try and physically force the shutter to rise. It didn't work, of course. There was no signs of my power, telekinesis, manifesting itself, and I couldn't find my own dice sword. I didn't want to die. I was so tired. I had no idea that running in fear for just half a day could be so exhausting. Nothing else to do, I slumped down against the shutter. Still, Kazuki wouldn't get off me. We probably weren't going to be able to keep running for much longer. Wakui had been quite clear. I'll tell you one thing, though. Don't think you can get away. Thinking about the future made me disappear. Made me despair. It was up to someone else whether we lived or died. It was up to someone else whether we lived or died, and that someone was coming for us soon. I doubted we could escape when he arrived. Even if we could, there was only so long we could keep running for before he inevitably caught us. We had no future. I even considered committing suicide. The idea of facing Wakui's psychological attack again scared me more than anything else. Only someone would come to save us. Suddenly I heard a sound, and I cowered in place before I even knew what I was doing. I curled into a ball to protect my head. I knew there was no point, but my instincts made me do so anyway. A short while later, I realized it was just the sound of a smartphone. I gave a deep sigh. It was Kazuki's phone that was ringing, not mine. The sound kept playing, which meant that it was a phone call, not an email. Kazuki looked at me with terror in her eyes. A phone call? Who's it from? Rain said, "No, senpai." It was Kurusu. Kazuki wasn't sure if she should answer it. If she did, maybe Wakui would go after Kurusu too. She probably wanted to avoid that. But right now, we needed any kind of help we could get. It could be Kurusu, Serika, Ito, or even Nightheart. We just wanted someone to do something to save us from this nightmare. I grabbed the phone out of Kazuki's hand and answered it. Hello? Oh, good morning. This is Wakui.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just hearing his voice filled my mind with despair. I was too scared to speak. That's strange. I was sure I called Kazuki-kun's phone. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. I'm sure she's right next to you, right? This can't be happening. Bruce's name's on the screen. Why am I hearing Wakui's voice? I thought for a second, and the worst-case scenario occurred to me. What did you do to Kurusu? Oh, you understand the situation already? I'm glad you're quick on the uptake. Did you kill her? No, but I don't know what I might do in the future. What do you mean? Let's meet at noon. See, he gave it exact time.
See? Around shit.
Let's meet at noon today in the Theater Cube on the 11th story of the Hikoriro building. Can both of you come? If we don't, will you kill Kurusu? I suppose I will. I mean,
I wasn't gonna say, but sure, yeah.
So much cleanup work to do. Clean up from what, you might ask? What Kazuki-kun did, of course. So it'll be a big help if you would just show up. My bosses want me to go big. Of course, I'm not planning on adding to the chaos. In fact, we're going to be censoring all the information about what's going on in Shibuya right now. But there have been several annoying little rats running underfoot for the last 6 years. You two and Kurusu-kun are bait to draw them out. Of course, I have no other interest in you. I have no other interest in Miyashiro-kun. So long as you're on time, there's nothing to be worried about. Thanks. See you at noon, okay? Make sure you're not late. Teacher's always sad when the students keep him waiting. After his monologue, Wakui up. God damn. Bruce had been kidnapped. I looked at the time on the phone. It was past 9. Wakui kidnapped Kurusu. Kazuki looked up at me in shock. I told her that if we didn't go see Wakui at noon, she was going to die. We've got less than 3 hours, huh? If we went, we were definitely going to die. There just wasn't enough time left. We didn't even have time to think about another option. I felt like I was about to cry, but I stopped myself. Why? Why, Nano-senpai? How the hell should I know? I slammed my fist against the shutter in frustration. I knew the answer, of course. I knew it so well it hurt. This is all my fault. I got Kazuki and Kurusu involved in this just to save my own life. What should I do? What am I supposed to do? I have no way of fighting back against Wakui. Both Kazuki and I are powerless. But if we don't go to the meeting spot, Kurusu will be killed. It doesn't matter whether or not Wakui intends to keep his promise. Our only choice is to do what he said. But he's telling us to go get killed. Just imagining it made my knees shake too much for me to stand up. My life was going to end soon. It had been a short life. I never thought it would end like this. Where had things gone wrong? I want to save her. Huh? I want to save Nono-senpai. Just as once, she didn't say maybe. Possible. She's seen for herself how scary Wakui is. There's nothing we can do. Try to hurt him and piss him off, he might do something even worse to us. It'd be far better just to let him kill us. Nightheart. Huh? Nightheart can do something, maybe. Maybe he can. But he's always seemed really shady. I can't imagine him agreeing to help us just like that. Even so, we decided to talk to him anyway. There was no time to think about it, so we headed straight back to Kazuki's dorm. He loaded up ESO2 on her PC immediately. Neidhart was logged in, like usual. He quickly sent a message to open a chat log. Yo, you're safe? I was sure you were dead. Still alive. Only for a few more hours, though. Give me the TLDR. Wakui took a girl from our club. We go to him at noon. Otherwise, she dies. What is this asshole's problem? Our lives are at risk here. How can he be so relaxed? He's making me want to punch the computer screen. Help, you're fucked. What's your plan? Help us. But I refuse. What? What? You monster. Sorry, but I'm not as useful as you guys think I am. A lot less useful than your average normie. I used to be pretty powerful, but in the last fight, I wasn't even human anymore. I gave up my power to come back from that. And now I can't use it anymore. How much of that did you just make up? Want to accuse me of being chuny? Go for it. Anyway, Wakui's goal is to get his hands on me. I'm completely powerless, so no way in hell I'm going. I've got problems of my own. I can't just drop everything and come to Shibuya. Who are you, really? I'm not important. What's important is Wakui. I told you yesterday he's an assassin for the 300, right? He's nothing like the Chaos Child Syndrome patients that appeared after the Shibuya earthquake. He's more like me, a 100% pure gigolomaniac. He's not as strong as I used to be, but he's still a powerful gigolomaniac. To be honest, you Chaos Child Syndrome patients don't stand a chance. Chaos Child Syndrome? Means you're psychic. Too lazy to explain more. So you're basically telling us to die? The Committee of 300 has designated you an enemy of the whole world, you see? So there's no way you can escape. That's what Wakui said too. I don't know if he's going to kill you, but if he gets his hands on you, you're not going to like what happens. You got 3 options. Abandon your friend, run away, buy yourself another day or 2 before you get caught. You could surrender to Wakui and beg him to spare your friend. But in Wakui's case, there's a good chance he's not going to do that. And your last choice, the odds are incredibly low, mind you, but you can fight Wakui, try to turn the tables. Way to fight him? Can we win? Odds are pretty much 0. Same odds as drinking a soda and not burping. If you can pull it off, you have a shot to turn things around. Is that really possible? It's hard to tell if Neidhart was being serious or joking, but both Kazuki and I were willing to bet on the smallest possible chance. Tell me, what can I do? What can we do? Sumo stickers. Huh? Sumo stickers. We looked at one another. In the midst of despair, we found a small ray of hope. It felt like there was a faint light shining down on us from above. Do we know about the sumo stickers? That's a stupid question. We know all about them. So a short while ago, we were obsessed with them. I know them. I know all about them. Good, that makes things faster. There are basically 2 types of sumo stickers in Shibuya. I use the ones the Committee of 300 put up. Good so far? What's different about the design? What's so different about the design? The stickers put up by the committee have the power to weaken gigolomaniacs and Chaos Child Syndrome patients. You get sick looking at them. Yeah, it's the effect you're looking for. It does nothing to people without powers, though. And you use the stickers for your own benefit. You weaken Wakui. You slowly, tantalizingly strip off your shirt. You beat Wakui. You put your shirt on, and you leave. The end. No, that's not the issue here. Huh? Who would have thought the sumo stickers held such a secret? But that was the real reason I felt sick when I saw them? Maybe the Committee of 300 won't expect us to use their own sumo stickers against them, but the question is how we do it. A single sticker only has so much power. The most it could do is make him a little queasy. How can we use that to weaken a monster like Wakui? I'll ask. What exactly do we do? The only way is to use Kazuki's power, right? Not gonna be that easy. Yeah, I know. Just like I said, the odds are as good as belching after you drink a cola. If you want to beat Wakui, you gotta work with what you got. You gotta be willing to take on the whole world. It's your last hope, and it's probably not gonna work. Whether you're willing to try anyway, just because you want to survive. That's up to you, not me. And we were wasting our time. I'd expected as much. There's no way to use Kazuki's power to pull that off. One of the reasons this had ever happened in the first place was because she couldn't control her power. I collapsed to the ground. Giving up made me feel a little better. I didn't want to die, of course, but I could at least be calmer than when I was dealing with the fear. We're doomed. We're dead no matter what happens. And besides, is there really any chance that he'll let Karusu go? Of course not. He'll be killed either way. There's nothing we can do about it. Thinking back, everything that's happened to Shibuya is because of my own selfishness. He could have just gotten killed at the start of all this. That's right, I shouldn't even be alive. You never should have saved me back there at the school.
Whack.
Kazuki punched the wall hard. The sound echoed loudly in the quiet room. I could hear her gritting her teeth. I hate my power, but... That's right. Kazuki was always the type of girl who was open with her emotions. She used to punch the wall all the time when she was playing ESO2. But... I want to save Nono-senpai. I want to save her. Tears streamed down her face as she told me how she felt. I never thought she cared about Karusu this much. I was so happy when Nono-senpai invited me to the newspaper club. Being in that room was the only thing that kept me going. I'm really grateful to Nono-senpai. That's why I want to save her. I don't want to abandon her. How do we even save her? There's nothing we can do. Can you control your power? You can't. This all happened because you couldn't control it. I know that.
Dude.
Wait, don't you care about what happens to Nono-senpai? I don't care what happens after. I don't want to think about it. My quest right now is to save Nono-senpai. Quest? This isn't a game. You're never going to finish that quest unless you sacrifice yourself. Once she was done talking, all she did was cry. Kazuki, you really hate to lose, huh? She nodded as she rubbed her eyes on the back of her hand. So she is aware of that. She hates to lose, which is why she's always so serious when she plays her games. But would that really be enough to make her want to go so far to help another person? Hey, Kazuki, why did you try to save me? Because of the newspaper club. It's a very simple answer, almost disappointingly so. To me, Kazuki was just a quiet, unfriendly girl that Karusu had brought to the club. She was always playing her games, she never talked, so honestly, I kind of tried to avoid her. The most I'd ever thought of her was she was sometimes useful in putting together the data Ito and I had gathered on the computer. To me, she'd barely even been a part of the newspaper club. You gave me a place to belong. You let me stay there, even though I never talked. I really liked you all. And of course, you too, Takaru-senpai. So when I saw you in trouble, I wanted to help you. She was a much kinder girl than I ever imagined. She probably couldn't refuse when someone asked for help. Once she felt like someone had been kind to her, she would never forget it. It was only now that I finally understood who Kazuki Hinae truly was. You really do want to save her, huh? If we wanted to save Karusu and damage Wakui, we would need to plunge the entire world into chaos, and then die before we fixed any of it. The odds were incredibly low. Even Kazuki didn't know what would happen when she used her power. I'm gonna die anyway, either way, and maybe we should give it a try. Takaru-senpai, let's do it, together. Kazuki smiled in relief with tears in her eyes. I didn't feel any better about it, though. If someone wanted to take my place, I'd gladly switch. But there was some small chance that at least Karusu could survive. Maybe it was just a little better than letting him kill us. Left the dorm. We talked for a while about how exactly we were going to confront Wakui, so there was just an hour left before the time he'd given. Fear filled my chest. I took deep breaths so that I could stay calm. There wasn't much we could do. More than anything, if we wanted to use Kazuki's power to its fullest, we needed to go someplace with a lot of people. The most populated place in Shibuya right now was a Hikariwo. Actually, every other place in Shibuya was empty. Ito had told me yesterday that people without any home except Shibuya had taken the place over. We were lucky that Wakui had told us to go there. The plan was to arrive early and just have Kazuki say as many words as possible. Something happened, good for us. It wasn't even fair to call this a plan, but with only an hour left, there was nothing else we could do. I'm ready. Maybe. We came out of the dorm. Change? That's my skirt and my underwear. Maybe. Oh, I see. Kazuki had wet herself when Wakui had attacked her, so I made her change. She smelled like piss. It would have been better if she switched into something easier to move around in, but for some reason she was still in her uniform. I displayed the map on my Pokecom. There was a photo of the map in the club room I'd taken yesterday. If we wanted to get to Hikariwo, we had to avoid the monsters appearing from the portal devices. And so if you had gotten this wrong, you would have got the bad ending here, and you would have got eaten by a monster.
Gotcha.
The fastest and safest route from Hekio Dorm 1 to the station was... We'll take Meijidori. We could take the subway tunnel next to Mishida Park and go underground and head straight to Hikariwo. Kazuki nodded and slowly offered me a piece of dried squid. I quickly realized that she wanted me to eat. This is our last meal, huh? Gratefully took up the squid from Kazuki and bit into it. The unique smell and taste filled my mouth. Good. Huh. I felt like I was starting to cry. Kazuki grabbed me by the arm. Her tiny body was still shaking. We were going to die, so of course she was. She may have hated to lose, but that didn't mean she wasn't scared. I patted her lightly on the back to encourage her and started to lead the way. But our plan quickly hit a stumbling block. Our investigation yesterday hadn't found any portals around here, but I thought there might be one here. We concealed ourselves as we looked down from the pedestrian bridge onto Majidori. 5 huge dragons covered in yellow and black scales were stomping up and down the block. When I looked in the direction of the station, I could see the distinctive light of a portal device 50 meters ahead of us. I went back to the park and hid. That thing wasn't there yesterday. If it was in someplace that obvious, one of us would have seen it. And it probably appeared sometime after we looked yesterday. What do we do? How are we supposed to get to Hikariwa now? There isn't much time left. Portal devices are appearing in a circle around Shibuya Station. The Hikariwa was right next to the station on the east side. We can't use the trains. There are no trains coming to Shibuya Station. We may have to do something dangerous, maybe. Like break through. It's true that getting within 100 meters radius of the portal device doesn't mean you're indefinitely going to be attacked. We can just get through fast without them finding us. What if, for example, we were to run from our present location, the back of the Miyashita Park Management Office, over the pedestrian bridge, down the stairs, into the subway entrance? No, it's too dangerous. Huh? You look confused. Doesn't she realize why it's dangerous? Alright then, time for a lecture. We don't really know what those monsters are physically capable of, do we? They're originally creatures from a video game, after all. I fought them a lot in the game. That's not the issue. Different fighting them in a game versus fighting them in real life. We haven't seen for ourselves how fast or smart they can be. And even if we do make it past the ones on the road, we don't know if there aren't more in the subway station. If there are, we'll have nowhere to run since we can't head back up the stairs. That's the worst possible scenario. Which is another reason why I wanted to approach things from a safe spot. If we died before we could use Kazuki's power, there'd be no point. We wouldn't be able to save Karusu or hurt Wakui. Kazuki seemed to agree. I loaded the map image back onto my Pokécom. There's not enough time left to go to another station to head around from there. Thought about heading down the tracks from Shinsen, Taikanyama, or Motasanda Station, but that wasn't realistic. Those stations were still running. One of the staff caught us sneaking onto the tracks, we could lose valuable time. Any other way? Stared at the map. It seems like there should be a way through the map. The 100-meter radius around the portal device was just a safe zone, at least at established. We used this as a base to look where in Shibuya was safe to travel. As long as we could get to the Seibo department store right next to the Tatsuya and Starbricks, we could make it out at the Scramble Crossing, and we'd have Kazuki's D-Sword to help us out. There are no portal devices in Scramble Crossing as of yesterday. A new one might have appeared by now, but the whole area was a complex maze, both above and below ground. It meant that even if that was the case, we would still have a good chance of escaping the monsters. Let's go this way. Kazuki looked at the route I showed her and quickly nodded. The sky was a cheerful blue. Beneath it, the buildings were as quiet as the dead. We ran through the streets. We could hear the distant howls of monsters. I felt like I had become a character in a video game. We were going to a very tiny safe area, dodging between the various danger spots. That safe area was just something I'd come up with quickly, and I hadn't had a long time to think about. There was no guarantee that it was actually safe at all. The stress of knowing that a monster might leap out of us at any minute started to wear me down. But even so, we broke open the shutter at Seibo department store and ran through the building. We then dashed across the empty Scramble Crossing, went under the bridge, and somehow managed to reach the Hikariwa. The door was wide open. I see many homeless people inside. I hadn't seen this many people together for days. There were hundreds of them. Some were sleeping on beds made of cardboard, and others were enjoying a lunchtime banquet of drinks and snacks. All the voices overlapped into a chaotic spiral of noise. I felt strangely at home. Kazuki and I looked at each other. More than enough people. Ready? We had less than 15 minutes until noon. Do it. Kazuki took a deep breath. Super strong sumo sticker! And screamed into the Hikariwa. Super strong sumo sticker! Again. Super strong sumo sticker! And again. Super strong sumo sticker! All the people gathered at the Hikariwa were staring in shock at this teenage girl who showed up out of nowhere and started shouting nonsense at them.
Mm-hmm.
All the noise and interest all faded in the dead silence. Super strong sumo sticker! Kazuki's voice, the only thing you could hear. Super strong sumo sticker! I imagine that this seemed like some kind of gag to the people who were watching us. She was only screaming this one single phrase. Her goal was to imprint it as deeply as she could into the minds of the people here. That was the best plan we could come up with in the short amount of time we had. There might have been a better way, but as exhausted and stressed out as we were, it didn't seem likely we'd be able to come up with it. Of course, I didn't expect this plan to work. It was barely even a plan at all. But even so, since Kazuki's power couldn't be controlled, there was no way of telling what exactly he could do. Possibilities were infinite. Just like it had created those portal devices around Shibuya, and the monsters that came with them, maybe it would do something we didn't expect. My hope was that it would create a sumo sticker stronger than all the other ones in Shibuya combined. At this point, it was all luck. I had no idea what would happen. Maybe something would. Maybe nothing would. There wasn't much time left at all until noon. These last 10 minutes were all we had left. All we could wish for was that something would appear that could help us fight Wakui. There wasn't really anything else I could do except stay by Kazuki's side. Super strong sumo sticker! Kazuki must have hurt her throat from screaming so much. He suddenly started to cough and heave. But despite that, she kept on yelling, Super strong sumo sticker! Super strong sumo sticker! Super strong sumo sticker! It's time.
Mm-hmm.
Kazuki gasped and fell silent. But that's enough. But nothing had happened yet. Nothing happened. What was the reality? There just wasn't enough time for Kazuki's power to materialize something. Kazuki, you did great. We'd lost our chance to fight back. And at this rate, we wouldn't be able to save Karusu either. Regret threatened to overwhelm me. But I couldn't run away now. I had to go. I told myself I couldn't stop here. Sorry, Kazuki. This all happened because you saved me. Together. Kazuki whispered and softly took my hand. I gripped her hand back. Her warmth made me feel just a little bit better. The only good thing about this was that Kazuki said that she'd stay by my side until the very end. Otherwise, I might have been too scared to go. Now, look up. Go to Wakui. This is your last chance to save Karusu. Homeless men were still looking at us in shock.
Mm-hmm.
We ignored them and headed into the elevator, still holding each other's hands. Are you guys as drunk as I am right now? Or that girl just yelling this crazy shit? A theater cube.
This is the dumb protest.
You want to go on a little longer since we were a little late, or you want
to? We can keep going a little bit, but I figure, I mean, I don't know. This is probably about as good of a pause point as we're gonna get. If we keep going, it should probably get us into the throes of the climax here.
Yeah, we are pretty close to the climax.
Shortly, I'm feeling, so maybe we hold off and just call it here.
All right, that sounds good. So yeah, Kazuki's route is wild, but we learned some things here.
Yeah,
or at least
we did.
At least according to this route, we learned more about Mr. Wakui and that he works for the committee. Whether or not that's canon or not is yet to be determined. But at least here, he was. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure out how this is gonna like what the big true ending at the end is gonna be. How this all wraps up together somehow. Every ending makes that more and more makes me more and more curious about that.
So let me ask you this question then, and like my default go-to is to skip her entirely. But the next on the list would be Yamazoe Uki, and I don't necessarily like. It's not a bad route, but I don't think it doesn't particularly add anything new to the narrative.
Yeah.
Do you want to just go straight to Nono's afterwards, or would you want to see Uki's?
kind of defer to your opinion on that. If you feel like it's worth it, we can do Ukis. If you feel like it's skippable, then I mean
Well, let me ask you this then:
there's no harm.
Have you noticed a through line through Arimura and Kazuki's route yet? Like the overall agenda of the route.
It seems like getting Takaru with a girl is where it is like kind of the overall, and like Karusu's still gonna die or it still seems to be dying in this one. I'm trying to remember if she did in Arimura's.
No, there was no Karusu dying in Arimura's.
Yeah.
So my theory, I don't know if this is
sure.
100% true or not, but my theory with each of these routes, at least from what I've seen with Armor and Kazuki's, is helping the girl in question deal with the problem that caused her to become a gigalomaniac in the first place.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, like what is the wish that they have at the moment that like gave them this specific set of powers or whatever. Yeah.
So with that being said, I
agree with that.
That's what you get out of Uki's route mostly. Like there's no other additional information about the truth going on other than helping Uki deal with the power she's been given.
Yeah, I mean I don't.
Well,
I don't have strong feelings either way.
All
we
right.
can sort that out.
All right, cool. But yeah, so anyway, we're definitely going to be finishing up Kazuki's route when we come back on. It'll be Tuesday night for me since I work Monday night. Gotcha. But when we come back, we'll finish up Kazuki's route, and then maybe we'll jump into Uki's. Maybe we'll go straight to Nono's. I will say though, is Karusu's is the one we do not want to miss. So we'll be getting there shortly. Anywho, that's going to do it for us tonight. If you've enjoyed this and have been following along or want to see the past streams of this or just want to get notified when we go live again, you can subscribe to Twitch or the YouTube channel, or you can sign up, go to the Discord. There's a link down below where it also gets posted there. It notifies you. We have a Patreon. If you want to throw us a buck or two, just your views and support is really all we want. But if you're feeling overly generous, we would appreciate it. But yeah, we'll see. I will see you back here on Tuesday night. And I suppose Eric will see you back here on Monday.
Yup.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.